the character of this man?
You don't have to point it out. I got it.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Daniel Balianu is suing his sister, Marcella Roseberry, for slander, defamation of character, false accusations, and a false restraining order.
Order. All rise. It's case number 132 on the calendar in the matter of Balianu versus Roseberry.
Thank you.
Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, please.
Mr. Balianu, this is your sister, and you're all fighting over your mother. How old is your mother?
She's 73.
And how long has she been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease?
I forgot what date, but it was recent.
Who does your mother live with?
She lives alone right now.
You're suing your sister for damages for slander, defamation of character, and filing a false restraining order that she filed on behalf of herself and your mother. Let's start first things first. Slander. You want to tell me how your sister slandered you?
Your Honor, initially opening, I abused my mother, and there was, the judge found that there's no evidence.
Just a second. The court case that you're talking about that involved the slander, is that the same court case for the restraining order?
That's one of the issues, yes.
So that the slander is part of the filing false restraining order?
Yes, Your Honor.
So that I don't have to hear anything other than let me see what your sister filed in an attempt to get a restraining order.
Yes, Your Honor.
These are a lot of papers here. Money owed for slander, which is part of the filing of a restraining order, which I'm going to look at. Your mother would be really happy everybody's fighting. What is your mother's name?
Eva Balianu.
She filed this restraining order.
That is not correct, Your Honor. It was falsely filed by Marcella impersonating my mother. And to correct the record that you said, Your Honor, the restraining order was not on Marcella's behalf.
Just a second.
It was only my mother.
That's not slander. This says the reason the request for a restraining order was made because it says my son Daniel went into my apartment without my permission. He told my other son, Gabe, that he still wants money from me that was given to me by the home to my apartment, but I am afraid he is there because he has been mentally and physically abusive to me.
May I, Your Honor?
Yes.
So those statements are completely false, and I have the evidence to prove that those statements that were made there are completely false.
What difference does that make? Your mother signed this.
Right. My mother, having the Alzheimer's way back before she said...
Your mother signed this.
That's not my mother's handwriting, and she did not agree to that statement in court in testimony, Your Honor, and I apologize.
Just a second.
Yes.
If what you're saying is you have statement under oath by your mother in a court proceeding that she did not sign this document, I'd be more than happy to see it. Show me.
In page 45 and 46 in the transcript, it shows...
Don't tell me what it says. Show it to me.
45 and 46.
That's ridiculous. It doesn't say that she didn't sign this at all. What the court is asking her in this transcript, do you want Daniel to be able to visit with you, come to see you? Like I told you, if you're going to make the decision and protection for she didn't sign this. Daniel.
Yes.
She never said she didn't sign it. That's your mother. Has nothing really to do with your sister anyway.
Your Honor, I apologize. The statement that was made, supposedly made by my mother, was proven by what you just read, that she wants to visit with me and not afraid of me.
Give this back. That's not what it says at all, sir. What I'm telling you is your mother did not say unequivocally she didn't want to visit with you. She said, if you can protect me, I want to visit with him. That's what she said. So let's get to your next cause of action, Daniel, and don't waste any more of my time.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Defamation of character. Is the defamation of character related to the filing of these documents?
Yes, and an additional...
What is the additional document?
In public, social media, she had defamed me and said that I abused my mother when that never happened.
I'd like to see it. Who's J-H-O-N-B?
Yes. That's my brother.
Your Honor, it's a group conversation that she was involved in it. If you read the whole thing.
I'm not reading the whole thing. It says, Steve, you can't take care of yourself. Steve will be held accountable. You will be put in jail and the family won't miss you. Why? Because you two have done nothing but cause us heartache and trouble. You need to get sober. You need to take responsibility for yourself and your actions. Long, short of the story, grow up and be a man. Don't contact me again because I'm going to get a lawyer and make sure that you and Danny stop making a joke of the law once and for all and be held accountable. That is not slander. They can say exactly what they think. You don't want to have a conversation with them. Don't have a conversation with them.
Your Honor, it was a group text message would defame me.
Do you want them to only say nice things about you in a group chat? Perfect. Now we're done with your case. Now, you have a counterclaim.
Yes, I
do.
do.
It says that your brother filed a false claim against you to Protective Services.
Yes, he did.
I'd like to see the claim. What kind of work do you do, Mr. Balanu?
I'm an IT professional, Your Honor.
When you and your mother bought a house several years ago, how much was the house?
About $182,500 when we bought it.
$182,500.
Yes, Your Honor.
In what year?
1996.
Who lived in the house?
It was myself, my mom, and my dad. We bought it together. We're on. Yes.
I'm asking questions.
Okay.
When was the house sold?
December 2008.
How much was it sold? $50,000 in profit.
No, Your Honor. By the time everything was done, we ended up with $100,000.
Had somebody taken out second loans on the house?
We refinanced.
That's either a yes or a no.
I refinanced the house, yes, Your Honor. And I did have some cash to fix the house up. Correct.
You refinanced the house. In what year did you refinance the house?
I believe it was sometime in 2003.
How much did you get?
Roughly around $30,000.
What did you do with the money?
I spent it on fixing the house.
In 2008, in whose name was the house?
Mine, alone.
How did that happen?
My mother and my dad signed a quitclaim deed. They were scared off by their church that the government was going to take the house away if my dad passed away.
Careful. Listen to me. Your mother and father signed a quitclaim deed so that the house was solely yours in 2000 and what?
The quitclaim deed was signed on June 6, 2000, Your Honor. I apologize for the date. And then they also gave me a power of attorney the 26th of May, 1998.
Who had put in the money when the house was purchased for $182,500?
I and my mother.
How much money did your mother put in?
About $14,000.
How much money did you put in?
Over $25,000.
Did someone have to the house your mother got?
Only I.
Is that correct?
No.
Now you can speak. You're a sibling, I assume?
Yes, I'm a sibling.
Who directed that your mother get money?
He had an attorney. My mom and my sister had an attorney because they were also on the house.
And how much was it directed that your brother give of the sale of the house to your mother and sister?
None, because it was the attorneys that gave the money. My mom received 42%. He received the other 58%. He did not give her one dime.
Well, your mother got 42%.
Yes.
Of the sale of the house.
Of the sale of the house.
Which at that time was $300,000 and some odd thousand.
Yes.
So your mother got maybe $180,000.
Whatever the math is, yes.
Has she been living off of that money?
Yes. Well, it's been a few years, so I'm not sure if she has it all left or...
She had to pay...
She lives independently at home.
Yes.
What kind of a residence does she live in?
It's a senior living facility.
Who takes care of the finances?
I do.
What's the monthly maintenance in that?
She pays... she's on housing, so her share is $232 a month.
Now, if she's on housing, that means that she had to have dissipated all of her funds in order for her to get money. So that I understand that, did your mother give any of the children money of this $180,000? Look at me. Did your mother give you any part of the $180,000?
She did give me some money, yes.
How much money did she give you?
She gave me...
look at me. Don't look over there.
She gave me a few thousand.
What's a few?
Like 5,000.
When?
When I bought my house, but we're paying her back. So
did she give you any money?
Not a dime.
You?
Well, she gave both of us for the house, yes.
How much did she give you? She's allowed to give you money.
Yeah, she gave me money
She's
for the
allowed
house.
to give you money. I'm just trying to get what's going on.
Yeah, she
How
gave
much
me
money did she give you?
She gave me like $5,000 to put down on my house.
And then?
Sometimes she gave me money here and there.
Right.
But, yeah.
Did she ever give you any money?
Not a dime.
Did you know that your mother had given your sister money?
Yeah,
Just want to know. I'm just figuring it out.
understandably.
You got it.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Stay away from your sister. Did
Your
you
Honor,
hear
may I
that?
explain?
No. Stay away from your sister. Don't go to her church. Don't go to her place of business. Stay away from her.
Little people, Judge Judy.
Daniel Balianu says his sister, Marcella Roseberry, slandered and defamed him when she accused him of abusing their mother. Marcella is countersuing for a false claim to Adult Protective Services.
I didn't see Adult Services complaint.
He reported me to APS, and I had to get investigated.
So what? If your brother is saying, my sister is in charge of my mother's finances, and she's in charge of things, she takes care of things, and I know that my sister never had any money, and all of a sudden my sister is buying a house, I think that my sister may be taking advantage of my mother. Investigate it. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and nothing was
wrong
found.
with that. That's okay. You don't have to find something bad every time you look, but you're allowed to make a complaint unless it's made maliciously and without any basis in fact. I just found basis in fact, and I hardly know you people, that your mother, who you say has Alzheimer's and dementia, gave you money to buy a house.
Yeah.
And gives you money here and there. And if she gives you money here and there, some people might say, listen, that's a little elder abuse. Listen, your mother would be, if she was a nice lady, and I assume she was a nice lady, would be so miserable to know that her children ended up fighting in court. What do you want to say?
I just want to point out the character of this man.
I know it. I got
that.
it.
I appreciate that.
I got the whole picture. Okay?
Your Honor, he even reported me for kidnapping my mom because I moved her from Anaheim to, I have the police report here, and he got a misdemeanor for lying to the police on here.
I know who he is. You're suing him for making a false report to Adult Protective Services. That's what you claim.
Yeah, and the kidnapping one.
That's what you claim.
May I?
Let me see. You say he called Adult Protective Services and claimed that I had kidnapped and neglected my mother. The claims were proven false and unfounded.
Yes.
On February 10th, he stormed into my church in the middle of church services and charged me, screaming that I owed him money and that I kidnapped my mother in front of 200 people. Did you go to her church?
Your Honor, I went
either
to
a
go
yes
look
or
after
no.
my mother, initially to set time with the court to visit my mother. My mother and I made a phone conversation that, yes, we're going to meet at this time. My mom was not found at her house. They took her away specifically for me not to visit with her. The court ordered that I could visit on the certain days, and only certain days, and I have that evidence. And I went to go look for my mother. My mother told me that she was going
Did
to
you
the
go
church.
to the church?
Yes, I did, and looking for my mother.
Looking for your mother doesn't mean
yes,
that...
Your Honor.
Looking for your mother. If she's at church, maybe she's in church, going to a church and screaming in front of 200 people at her is not looking for your mother. Did you go in to your sister's church and in front of 200 people scream that she had kidnapped your mother?
It was after church when everybody was talking in the church.
Your Honor, I actually
Yes.
have audio of that. We were...
I'd like to hear it.
Okay.
You testify constantly in the court of law, and I'm the guy that you got defended. And I'm going to see my mother.
That was it.
Did you request a protective order to keep him away from you?
I requested it. I didn't put all my evidence together, so
So the answer is you
I requested it for myself, yeah.
but then it was dismissed.
I didn't know that he filed a restraining order on me, and it was dismissed because he...
Mr. Balianu, stay away
It
from
was
your
false.
sister. Stay away from your sister.
Your
Did you
Honor,
hear
may I
that?
explain?
No. Stay away from your sister. Don't go to her church. Don't go to her place of business. Stay away from her.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
This woman stole money from my mother, and she abuses my mother. She took that money from her, $50,000 that I gave her. She lied to the government to...
Are you finished?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Daniel Balianu claims his sister, Marcella Roseberry, falsely accused him of abusing their mother.
Now you've been warned. Now she has a tape that you've been warned to stay away from her. If you do not stay away from her, she's going to get a protective order, and you're going to violate it because that's part of your nature, and you'll find yourself in jail. Stay away from her.
Your Honor, I'm here to plead my case to you, and I would love for you to hear me.
We're done.
We're
done.
My sister stole $50,000 from my mom. That money was not given to her.
Just a second.
And I apologize, Your Honor.
Hey, listen to me. I want you to understand something. How old are you?
I'm 52 years old.
Shut up.
And this woman there, and she took that money from her, $50,000 that I gave her. Your Honor, this woman is a thief, and she had put my mom in a home where government pays subsidies, and this woman took that money. It wasn't given to her. She lied to the government, including my to put my mother in a place like that.
Are you finished?
Your Honor,
listen to me.
My mother loves me, Your Honor. My mother loves me, and she takes, and I take care of her. I took care of her.
I can't help you. If what you are seeking is to be declared the guardian of your mother, you can listen to what I'm saying to you carefully. If what you are seeking is to be declared, don't speak again, ever, here. If what you believe appropriately for your mother would be for you to be her guardian, her caretaker, there is a family court where you can be declared the guardian of someone who is incompetent. Your mother can give away any amount of money that she wants, and she doesn't necessarily just, I told you, I don't want to hear you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Now, amount of money that she wants, and the money that your mother, if it's true, gave to your sister or your sister took from her, is none of your business unless you are your mother's quiet guardian or you're the executor of her estate. It's not your job. And if you want to see your mother, and if you believe that you are being deprived of the ability to see your mother in spite of a court order, file for a violation of that court order. I'm not listening to anything more about money, which is always the root of everything. Follow the money, not the welfare of the person. Follow the money. What riles you is the money that your sister stole from my mother, not your business.
Your Honor, I have to speak.
You didn't hear what I said to you. I'm not listening
money
to you
from my mom, and it didn't hit her bank account, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy...
You worked for the plaintiffs, taking care of their father. When did you start taking care of him?
14 months ago.
You can't remember when you started to work. I wouldn't let you take care of a goldfish.
Judge Judy.
I knew the judge would see right through him because it's not true.
That money never hit my mom's bank account.
The court gave her the money. He never gave her any money, and nobody stole $50,000 from her.
They're not allowing our family to be together because of hatred for me.
This is not right. My mom is too sick for this.
I will fight them in court until the truth comes out.
You worked for the plaintiffs, taking care of their father.
Another person's life was in her hands.
When did you start taking care of him?
14 months ago, January-ish.
No.
2018 or 2019, sorry.
She just doesn't know when.
You worked in January, beginning, middle, or end?
Probably about the beginning-ish, middle.
If you can't remember when you started to work, I wouldn't let you take care of a goldfish.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
John Dick and his sister Casey Goddard are suing their former employee, Lisa Mayer, for an unpaid loan and attorney fees.
Order.
All rise. It's case number 140 on the...
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Miss Mayer, I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
You were a caregiver for the plaintiff's father,
Yes.
who was ill. And there came a time, Miss Mayer, well, let's go back a little bit. When did you start taking care of him?
14 months ago.
Don't look at them.
Yeah.
Don't look. Shh.
No.
Don't speak. Month
Right after
and year.
2018,
Month.
January, or 2019, sorry.
Not right.
After Christmas, we got through, I'm sorry.
Just look at me.
January.
You should...
It was January 8th, the 2019.
No, don't look at...
I'm sorry.
Let's start again. When did you start working for the plaintiff's father as a
January
caretaker?
2019.
Had you worked for an agency?
I worked for Southridge Nursing and Rehab.
And when did you, according to you, when did you leave his employ?
It was in around April 4th.
So in total, according to you, you worked in January, beginning, middle, or end?
Probably about the beginning-ish, middle.
Those are two different things. Beginning and middle are two different things. Was it the beginning of January or the end of January?
Beginning of January.
So you worked for him January, February, and March, 3 months.
Well, longer than that.
So what are you looking for?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I worked there. It was after Christmas. We interviewed almost a year.
Well, yourself.
Okay.
Because I'm getting frustrated.
I'm sorry.
Because either there's something wrong with you, because I wouldn't let you take care, if you can't remember when you started to work, I wouldn't let you take care of a goldfish. Do you understand?
Okay.
All right.
It's fine.
You don't have to speak to anybody. You're not to speak to anybody.
Okay.
Just start to concentrate when you
Okay.
started to work and when you finished.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
In that 4 weeks, you're claiming that you worked $8,500 worth in that 1 month.
No,
From
ma'am.
That's what your claim is.
And later today,
Did you live there in June?
Yes, I did. Her husband had come down and got belligerent and in my face, and I told her what had occurred and that I would just keep my rent and move out.
You can't just keep your rent and move out.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
John Dick and his sister, Casey Goddard, claim former employee Lisa Mayer owes for a car and attorney fees. Lisa is countersuing for unpaid wages and slander.
Stay seated. So did you figure out when you started this job?
July 3rd, 2018.
And when did you leave the job?
April 4th.
On what date did you take money for a car? 2019.
Yes, 19.
And 4 weeks later, were you fired or did you quit?
I quit.
That's what this case is about. That you worked for the plaintiffs, taking care of their father for a period of now for 9 months. Then they gave you $3,500 because you didn't have transportation. And then 4 weeks later, you quit. Of course, not returning any of the $3,500 to them. Now, your counterclaim suggests that they owe you, in addition to the $3,500, which you say you were going to work off, were going, because I read your,
Yes, ma'am.
which I read your answer. You said the idea was that I was going to work it off. So in addition, in that 4 weeks, you're claiming that you worked off the $3,500 and an additional $5,000. So in that 1 month, because that's what you're counterclaiming for $5,000. So in that 1 month, you worked $8,500 worth in that 1 month.
No, ma'am.
That's what your claim is. I read your answer, and you said the idea was, it was sort of an advance. They agreed to give me $3,500. Then I suffered a stroke, and I still managed to go to work. And I have lupus, so for a couple of days I asked off, and I didn't want to put their father at risk, and they didn't care about my well-being, so I quit.
That is not how it particularly went down. It was a couple of months prior to that my pay had went down. We had agreed to put me on salary, and someone had to be let go.
Just a second. Your salary went down a couple of months before.
I was getting paid hourly, and then overtime was kicking in, so my money had went up a good bit. Well, they had a family member leave, which put them kind of in a bind. So I said I will take a pay cut. We'll do this, we'll go to salary so that we can get things figured out to get...
Just a second. So you agreed to take a salary?
Yes.
In what month?
In February.
So in February, you agreed to take a salary?
Yes.
When in February?
This one is February 9th.
2/9, you agreed to take a salary in what amount?
For $600 a week.
Your Honor, that is not true.
I don't want to ask you anything. Please, let me do my job.
Yes, ma'am.
For $600 a week, did they pay you $600 a
For
week?
2 weeks.
Okay, so they paid you $600, 2 weeks in February, for 18th to the 25th, which is almost the end of February. So they paid you in February $600. Then we come to March. Just a minute. Then we come to March. What happened in March?
We let someone go, and they were going over budget and trying to figure out how to maintain me and the other people working, trying to be feasible.
We're in March.
In March. And they said, we can't afford to pay you that. So we sat down, we went over numbers, which is right here where he wrote it all down, and it was dropped down to $400.
$400 a week?
A week.
Okay, so they were going to pay you $400.
$425, my bad, and $25 minus the car note.
Is it at that time that they gave you the $3,500 for the car?
That was given to me on March 2nd, yes.
Was the same date?
It was around, it was in the same week. So, but
It
not
was
the
the same
day.
week. So your salary was dropping down to $400, and the $25 was supposed to be payback for the car.
Yes.
So the car payment, which was $3,500, according to what you just told me, was a loan that you were going to pay back at the rate of $25 a week.
Yes.
So far, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you pay $420?
Did I pay?
Yes. Did
No,
they pay?
They paid me.
They paid $400.
They paid me
$425
was taken out for the
was
car.
taken out for the car.
Yes.
So it was $425, and you got $400, or
I got $400.
okay? So they took out $25 for the car.
Yes, ma'am.
So you paid $25 for the car.
Yes.
In the month of March.
Yes.
For a total of $100. Is
Yes,
not an
ma'am.
answer.
I'm sorry.
And then you quit.
Yes, ma'am.
So then you owe them $3,400.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, then why are we here?
We had agreed that because with...
Now I'm just buying what you just told me. They didn't say a word.
When I brought to them the fact that I could not survive on what we were doing and feasibly...
Just a second. When did you bring that to their attention?
I brought it
After
to
March?
them in March, yes.
Well,
ma'am.
you made the deal.
The deal was I was supposed to be bumped back up in pay and had this stroke. And trying to maintain and keep my life going, taking care of their father, I was
You owe
working...
them $3,400. That's so far.
Yes.
That's so far. And they're also, since you quit, which I get, now you work for 4 weeks and then you quit. Now, they also say that they had to hire an attorney to...
No, ma'am.
South Page, where are you working?
I am not. I'm in college.
Who do you live with?
My fiance.
How do you support yourself?
I have financial aid from school.
Well, college is a very serious commitment.
It is a
Are
very
you telling me
serious
that
commitment.
college is easier than getting a job?
I can't, and guidelines, I'm not released from my doctor, so I cannot go get a job. They won't release me. I can't do lifting.
You owe them $3,400. Now, show me so far what it cost you to get an attorney to sue her for $3,400.
Your Honor, she actually made...
Would you do me a favor? Show me. And if what you're telling me is she made more than $100 in payments,
she made
how much?
$150 in payments.
Okay,
yes,
so
ma'am.
she owes you $3,350.
The two-step... Well, I'll get with that one in a minute.
Let me tell you, Miss Mayor, while
Yes, ma'am.
you may present a sympathetic picture, it's not an honest picture. Because if you're living with your boyfriend and you realize that you can't pay them back, sell the car.
That's not the...
Sell the car. That's what you do.
I had every intention of giving the money. I got word back as far as the job that I was previously at. They're saying that I took from them and that I wrecked the car. It's, I don't know.
That's a whole jumble. You quit 4 weeks later after they gave you money for the car.
After I sat down and talked, and instead of being talked to about it was a verbal, I felt attacked. I had suffered from the stroke, told them, brought it to their attention that I can't make it. I have insurance to pay and everything else. I never wanted to leave their dad. I loved their dad very much. I loved them. It wasn't an issue. It was just a give. I was giving everything I had, and then when I brought it to their attention that this was not...
They weren't caring enough.
No.
That's what happens, Miss Mayor. When you loan someone money, and if the person can't pay back the loan, or it becomes difficult, they will always find a reason that it's the person who made the loan, it's their fault. Either they have the money, it's not important to them, they disrespected my aunt, they disrespected me, they called my child a name, they weren't sympathetic enough with my physical condition. There's always a reason that a delinquent borrower will rationalize why they haven't paid the loan. All I said to you was, if you found them to be not compassionate people about your physical situation, sell the car and give them the money.
Okay.
You don't quit and not pay them and then say, well, they weren't sympathetic enough, I had a stroke, and I really...
Care of him.
Well,
I did a great job taking care of him. There's
Your Honor.
not one. I could have stayed and continued.
What are you giving me here?
On the back, it should be there should be a check on there that we had to write to that law firm.
$3,700
Your Honor,
judgment for the plaintiff. We're done. But did you understand what I just said? You don't have to say anything to me.
Yes, ma'am.
I issued a judgment in your favor for the full amount that you're requesting, $3,700. You count the claims dismissed. We're done.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
It is what it is.
Judge Judy's fair and she's smart.
Because they loaned me the money.
She pretty much just left us high and dry.
It's just a disagreement.
We're pretty sad that this situation come to this.
I love that man.
She took such good care of our dad, and we got duped.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Stevens versus DeCorley, step forward.
Tamara Stevens is suing her former friend, Crystal DeCorley, for unpaid rent, property damage, and a haircut. Crystal has a countersuit for property damage and slander.
Miss Stevens, I've read your complaint, and it appears to me that you and Mr. Corley were friends.
Yes, ma'am.
You had a history together of some substance abuse, but you have maintained, according to you, sobriety since for a very long time. You, Corley, as well, had maintained her sobriety, and you decided to let her rent this rental property. Is it a house?
It's a house, yes.
And it's not far from where you live?
No, it's only 2 houses down.
And how large is it?
It's 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath.
And who did you live there with?
My daughter, and at one point, my 2 nieces.
And what was your rent?
$500 a month.
When did you move in?
June of 2017. I gave a $500 deposit and paid $500 a month rent.
And when did you move out?
This past weekend.
Just this past weekend?
Yes. She was supposed to be out June 16th. I evicted her. I evicted her June 16th. She was supposed to be out July 16th. They both agreed to allow me to stay until Sunday.
Where is the house?
The house is just 2 houses down from mine. It's on...
In what city?
In Salem, Missouri.
When did you do a walkthrough on the house?
We did a walkthrough yesterday morning, and then I gave her 24-hour notice, and we did a walkthrough last week also.
She moved out yesterday. When did you do the walkthrough?
Oh, she moved out Sunday.
Sunday?
Sunday. So I did Monday morning.
When did you file your lawsuit?
I filed my lawsuit 2 days after I filed my my eviction.
You filed your small claims lawsuit after...
Before my rent was even...
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
There's instant justice and there's ridiculously instant justice, and give them notice. That clearly didn't happen.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Tamara Stevens says former friend Crystal DeCorley owes for rent, property damage, and a haircut.
Okay, you filed your small claims lawsuit. When you filed your eviction, I'd like to see the lawsuit that you filed.
I had to do an amended one after I found out more damage. Would you like that one also?
When did you find more damage?
For the 17th, or the... What date was it that I did this? The 18th. It was after I did the 24-hour, I gave her the advance notice, and I did the walkthrough and realized there was huge holes in the walls.
I'm not happy about...
Many of which were there when I moved in.
I'm letting you know that I'm not happy about this case and the damage. There's instant justice and there's ridiculously instant justice. And if you moved out on a Sunday in Missouri and on Tuesday you're on a plane coming to Los Angeles to try a lawsuit on Wednesday, and you have to serve somebody a summons and give them notice, that clearly didn't happen. Not if she moved out on Sunday. So I'm not hearing any evidence with regard to damage. Zero.
Okay.
Zippity-dooted her in what month?
I evicted her in June.
Had she paid rent up until June? That's either a yes or a no.
Yes, ma'am. She paid May, and then June she told me she was not going to pay rent.
Because I was threatened with eviction by her husband.
That's all right. Did you live there in June?
Yes, I did.
And you did not pay rent?
Her husband had come down and got belligerent and in my face, threatening me with eviction, and 2 days prior to her asking for the rent, and I told her what had occurred and that I would just keep my rent and move out since I was tired of being threatened.
You can't just keep your rent and move out. You didn't pay in June, and you also lived there in July.
And justly, I've been asking for repairs that were needed to be done on the house prior to me even moving in.
Listen to me. I'm not taking any counterclaim from you. Zero.
Okay.
Because you two are not going to be able to demonstrate to me that you served her with a counterclaim and gave her appropriate notice. So the only thing that I will hear is rent for June and part of July. You have the following alternative. If you want to press the entire case, which includes damage, I will dismiss the case without prejudice, and you can go back to court in Missouri.
Well, there was other rent also. She owed me rent. She was supposed to pay me $300 with taxes, and I have proof of it.
Fine. Okay. I will hear a claim for rent in June and any other rent that you claim she owes you.
Okay.
Because that lawsuit, you said you filed at the same time you filed the eviction.
I did, and for the bed bugs also.
Understand this very carefully. I am hearing rent.
Just rent. Okay.
Period.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, did you short her on rent the month of either January or February?
It was in February, and
the answer is yes.
Yes, we had come to an agreement. I have since also gave her $100 of that money back.
That is true.
So you owe her $200?
Yes.
And you owe her for the month of June $500?
Well, my rent isn't due until the 16th of the month.
On the 10th, I have the lease right here.
According to the eviction notice, it's due on the 16th.
You lived there the month of June. Did you pay any rent in June?
No.
Then you owe for the month of June. That's $700. $200 for the month of February and $500 now. Did you give her security deposit?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
How much?
$500.
You are not requesting that back.
And she had the bed bugs issue, and I honestly felt like that $500 deposit could have been used as my last month rent. That's why I chose to try to get out before.
No, you don't talk about any security deposit. Okay. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $700. Thank you very much.
What about the hairdo she owes me for, ma'am?
We're done.
That was a gift. That was a gift. What about the damages that I lived through?
Always are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy...
The warning.
Never taken somebody whose own parent kicked him out, which is what you did.
Yes, ma'am.
The regret.
The room was trashed. How did it get trashed?
Judge Judy.
It is what it is.
Huge holes all in the wall.
There were repairs that needed to be done to that house before I ever moved into it.
All my brand new wood floors I just had refinished are disgusting.
They didn't get their way.
It's just going to take a lot of work.
Oh, we'll never be friends again.
I will never, ever rent a family or friends ever again.
The warning. Never taken somebody whose own parent kicked him out, which is what you did.
Yes, ma'am.
The expense.
I did not charge her rent because she was in high school.
Did she provide her own food?
No.
The regret.
She actually took care of you.
And I was very grateful.
And then there came a time when the room was trashed. How did it get trashed?
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Kathleen Ellis is suing her daughter's friend, 19-year-old Taryn Burnsett, for unpaid rent and damages.
Order. All rise. Now, it's case number 113 on the calendar, the matter of Ellis versus Burnsett.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat.
Miss Ellis, who is this?
This is my daughter, Brittany.
Okay, so here we have another one of those. No good deed goes unpunished. I never take in somebody whose own parent kicked him out, which is what you did.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm sure that there are situations where that works out. I'm sure there are also don't send me letters, notes, cards, emails, that you've done it successfully. I only see the stories that are not successful. So that's the parameters of my information. Your mother kicked you out when you were how old?
17.
And you were still in high school?
Yes, ma'am.
In what month did she kick you out?
I believe April. I'm not sure.
And you were a friend of Miss Ellis let you move into her house?
Yes, ma'am.
Into a basement apartment that she had recently refurbished?
Yes.
Was comfortable?
It was very nice, and I was very grateful.
Terrific. And it may turn out okay for you. You graduated high school and lived with Miss Ellis from April until when the following year?
April 13th.
So you lived there for 1 year?
Yes, ma'am.
After you graduated high school. Did you get a job or did you go to school after high school?
I kept the same job that I had in high school. It was at McDonald's. Some point during it, though, I quit. It was very cold, like Minnesota. It was an extreme winter this year, and I went on a graph to see the wind chill and the temperature, how long of a walk it would be before you got, like, frostbite, and it was within, like, 20 minutes.
So you quit the job. When did you quit the job?
I'm sorry, I don't have records of that, but it was for a while.
So you were living, I assume, rent-free while you were in school?
Yes.
When you graduated from school that summer, it wasn't freezing cold. Did you work during the summer?
Yes.
Did you contribute to the house during that summer?
Yes, I tried in every way that I could to show that I was being considerate and that I had the utmost respect.
I'm talking about financially.
Financially?
Summer
no.
after you graduated? No. What about in September? Never pay any rent to Miss Ellis?
I never paid rent, but I gave her, like, a gift around Christmas.
So she let you live with her for a year, even when you were working, So that was pretty nice. Why don't you tell me what happened and why we're here today?
Yes, ma'am. I believe the main reason is for, like, the disrespect, because she saw that it was, like, in chaos, the room, and she refurbished it when her son moved out, because I imagine her son left it.
Don't tell me what you imagine. She refurbished it when you moved in. And then there came a time when the room was trashed?
Around Mother's Day, sorry.
Well, Mother's Day is in May.
Yes, in May.
So then you were still living there in May? So it wasn't April that you moved out. You moved out sometime later.
I moved out in April. It was May of the year before. I had planned to buy a new mattress, and sorry.
Okay. So the room was trashed shortly after you moved in.
It wasn't shortly after I moved in, because...
Well, after the room was trashed, Miss Ellis let you stay there.
Not after, no. I'm really bad with times.
Well,
but,
then I'm going to have to stop with you. You are very bad with times. Either she let you stay for a year after the room was trashed, or after the room was trashed, she asked you to leave.
It was a year before. It was trashed for a long time, but I just, like, bought a new...
Trashed.
So her son didn't like me. There were a lot of times, I think I might have evidence of this, where he tried to get me kicked out because he didn't like me.
Just tell me how the room got trashed.
I believe that he did it out of, like, a vindictive feeling. I don't know. He wanted me to move out multiple times, and I knew that if I left, because I had to leave when he came over, so I left my room without, and I tried to, like, I moved all my clothes because I didn't want him messing with my clothes. But, yeah.
How old is your son?
It was just trash.
My son is 21.
Where does he live?
He lives in Minneapolis. He moved out of my home a year before Taryn moved in.
And where did he move out to go?
To Minneapolis.
What does he do there?
He, right now, I believe, is cleaning homes.
So you're not sure what he's doing?
No.
And he moved out when he was 18-ish?
Yes.
How often did he come home after
he has not been to my house in at least a year and a half. It was Mother's Day of the prior year.
Stand up. Your first name is?
Brittany.
Brittany, what's your brother's name?
Mark.
Were you home when Mark came home?
Yes.
Mother's Day a year and a half ago?
Yes.
Who else was home?
Me and my sister and my mom. And then he brought his girlfriend, too.
And when he came home with his girlfriend, the defendant left?
Yes. She didn't want to fight with my brother because they've had problems in the past.
And sleep?
They didn't spend the night.
How come? It's not an answer.
I'm not.
We're here, and I'm asking you, what kind of an incident happened with your brother, your mother, and or his girlfriend a year and a half ago.
My brother and my mom got into a fight, and he left and went back to Minneapolis with his girlfriend.
They got into a fight with you present?
Yes.
You were present?
Yes.
They got into a fight about what?
They butt heads a lot. They disagree a lot.
I knew that as soon as he moved out when he was 18.
Yes.
And hadn't been back for a year and a half. So I know something happened because that just makes sense. I have a lot of children, they have friends, so they sort of know that. So on Mother's Day, what were they fighting about?
I don't recall what the exact fight was.
I do recall my son had brought illegal drugs into my house, and I had an issue with that.
That they were using in your house?
Yes.
That they thought it was just okay?
Yeah.
Disrespect was appalling. Sorry.
Now we're going to get to the case.
Okay.
Now I've got the scenario. The defendant moved out relatively recently. April?
He moved.
No.
She moved out April 13th.
Right. And what are you suing her for?
I am suing her January, February, March, part of April, and for the damages that were caused to the mattress.
Okay. I'd like you to tell me, January, February, and March, she hadn't paid you rent in a year, and you didn't evict her. Now, tell me what happened in January that you're suing for January's rent. She had never paid you rent before.
She paid me rent November and December.
How much?
She paid $200 a month. Before that, I did not charge her rent because she was in high school.
Well, she wasn't in high school. She wasn't in high school August, September, October, and November.
Right. And that's on me that I did not charge her rent for those months.
Did she provide her own food?
No.
Miss Ellis says that you gave her some money for rent for 2 months. Is that true?
I gave her money around Christmas because she was struggling. I 100% would have. I gave her $400, and I would have given her rent if that's what it had been. But if it would have been, then she says that it was 2 months, and then I suppose it would have went on 2 months.
Don't tell me what you suppose.
Okay.
You gave her $400. And in January is when you stopped working because you told me about this wind chill and how long it was going to take you to work, so it was wind chill. So you didn't pay her for January, February, and March, for sure. Okay. Now, what evidence do you have that...
Photographs of the mattress.
I'll take a look at the mattress. There you go.
I also have the receipt showing when I purchased the mattress.
I'd like to see that, too. Okay, this damage to the mattress that I'm looking at, Ms. Burnson, is not damage that the sun caused. Have you seen the photographs?
I haven't, but it was really bad, so...
Well, it's not damage that the sun caused.
I mean...
Okay. I believe that you had an agreement at a certain time to pay her rent, which is why you paid her rent and why you had this elaborate story of wind chill. So I believe that you owe her for 3 months' rent, which is $600. And I believe that you owe her for a mattress, which is $372, leaving a total of $972. I think that that's most reasonable on Miss Ellis's behalf because she actually took care of you for more than a year. She took care of your electricity, she took care of your heat, she took care of your rent, she took care of your food, she took care of whatever had to be taken care of for you. So I certainly believe that that's a minimal cost. Now, you have a counterclaim for you moved out because you couldn't take it with you.
It was changed to $300.
Okay. Well, let's change it. Let's change it to nothing.
Okay.
$972. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I think Judy was very insightful, and I'm happy.
Thought it was an excellent decision.
Extremely disrespectful.
Even though I didn't do the damages, I 100% would have replaced it so she didn't have to do this.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Seifert versus Seifert. Step forward.
Leroy Seifert is suing his former sister-in-law, Judy Seifert, for an unpaid loan to pay for his brother's funeral and the return of family heirlooms.
Mr. Seifert, the defendant is your brother's widow.
Yes.
How long were they married?
2 years.
Did his previous wife pass away or were they divorced?
He didn't have a previous wife.
So the defendant is his only wife?
Yes, ma'am.
How old was he?
My brother was 55 or 6.
55.
55.
When he died?
When he died.
And his only survivor, therefore, was his wife?
Correct.
Had no children.
No children.
I'm just getting everything
Okay.
straight.
Yeah.
Stepchildren. Yes,
Stepchildren.
stepchildren.
Well, just so that
But
you know,
none-
shh, don't speak. In the law, when they're not even stepchildren anymore.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Did you know where this was before your husband died?
Yes,
Not we. How did it come into Mr. Seifert's possession?
we took it over there for safekeeping.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Leroy Seifert says his late brother's wife, Judy Seifert, owes for the cost of his brother's funeral and for the return of family heirlooms. Judy is countersuing for a gold pendant and threats.
Okay. In any event, you married him for 2 years.
No.
Did you?
We were married for 5.
You were married for 5 years. In
Yes.
what year did you marry?
2014.
We went to the
Wait,
wedding.
shh. It doesn't make any difference, sir. It really doesn't make any difference. What you're asking Miss Seifert for is you say that she owes you for a loan that you made to her
Correct.
for your brother's funeral.
Yes, ma'am.
When your husband died, Miss Seifert, was it after an illness or was it sudden?
No, it was very unexpected.
Did he have any insurance?
Yes.
Were you the beneficiary of his policy?
Yes.
How much money did you inherit as a result of that?
A total of $7,700.
What you inherited when he passed away?
Insurance money?
No, of anything.
Our home?
Was it his home initially?
No, it was ours.
You bought it together?
Yes, we did.
Okay. How long in total did you know your husband before
Total?
he passed away? Yes.
Approximately 10 years.
And of the 10 years, how many of those years did you live together?
Before we got married, about 4.
So this house was purchased as a married couple?
Yes.
Is that right?
I think yes. Yes.
Okay. And did you bring certain property with you?
Yes.
And I'm sure your husband had certain things that he brought with him. Do you know that it's your responsibility, not his brothers and siblings, to take care of his funeral?
Right.
You understand that?
Yes, I do.
Did you take care of his funeral? Did you pay for it?
Yes, I did.
How much did you pay for it?
I paid him my husband's Corvette, or our Corvette, and a boat and trailer that we had together.
How much was the funeral, sir?
I have it on receipts here, ma'am. I'm not exactly sure what the total was, but it was around $3,000.
Well, here, your lawsuit is for money owed on a loan for
Correct.
brother's funeral expenses.
She came to me and asked me, she told me she didn't have any money to pay for his funeral expenses.
He offered.
And asked if I would...
Don't speak.
At first I said no, because how are you going to pay me back? She said, I have a life insurance policy for him that he got for his final expenses that he had taken out 2 years ago, she told me.
Fine.
And so I said, okay, well,
That's
under those...
really odd. He's a young man to do that.
I know that. I didn't know about it until she told me about it that day at my house. And so I said, well, under that situation, I will help then.
Great.
If you can pay me
I want
back.
to see exactly how much you gave her.
I didn't give it to her. I paid for everything and made all the
Well,
arrangements.
then just tell me what it was.
Okay, well,
Not
I have...
about. I don't want to hear an about.
Okay.
I have the cost of the memorial here.
I have $2601.88 on one receipt. I only have 2 receipts, and another one here for $1,530.
For
Those
what?
are the 2.
For
this
what?
is for the plot of land that we've buried him in, and the expenses at the
Okay.
cemetery, and this is for the funeral home for the
Okay.
memorial.
2601, and the other one was for 1,000.
$530. And then there were some other expenses involved in that, too. She came to me and asked me for money for the priest. There was also the death certificate she asked me to purchase for her, and a luncheon after his funeral, and that's it.
That's it. You took everybody to lunch. That's your business. 4131 are those
Correct.
2 amounts put together. That's for the funeral service, and you got the money for that, $7,700, so you have to pay him the $4,100.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I mean, I have a brother. I have things of value. I have jewelry. I live with my husband. I wouldn't think of taking a piece of jewelry and giving it to my brother and saying, would you hold this for safekeeping?
That's what...
I have my own house.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Leroy Seifert says his late brother's wife, Judy Seifert, owes for the cost of his brother's funeral and for the return of family heirlooms. Judy is countersuing for a gold pendant and threats.
Now, your husband took out the policy because he didn't want anybody else to have to pay for his final resting. Pay attention.
Yes.
That's it. You have to take care of it. Because the other part of your lawsuit is you say you want the value of family heirlooms that they have. Well, you can't have that.
He had.
Okay. You understand that?
Yeah.
That all belongs to her. It's in their home. You can't go in picking around and saying, well, that was my grandmother's, that was my grandfather's. They belong to her husband.
Okay.
And she is his survivor.
Correct.
That's why she has to pay for the funeral.
Correct.
Right?
Thought so.
She also gets to keep all of his property. That's
Okay.
one of the reasons she has to pay.
Okay.
That's easy. Now, you have a counterclaim. Money owed for a gold pendant.
Right.
What gold pendant?
The same one we were talking about.
May I see it?
Yes, ma'am. My father had purchased back in the 70s. It belonged to our family, and one day my brother came over to my house about a year and a half before he died and said that, I'd like you to have this. I want to get a loan on it. And I said, for how much? He said, well, I don't want to keep it at the house because I think Judy might sell it. Okay? And so I said, well, what do you want for it? He said $500, and I gave him the $500 because I'd seen it many times at our family home when we were children.
Just a second. Is what you're telling me, this came into your possession before your brother died?
Correct.
Did you know where this was before your husband died?
Yes,
Not we.
My husband and I.
How did it come into Mr. Seifert's possession?
We took it over there for safekeeping.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
It's
Give this
true.
back to the plaintiff, please.
It is true.
Thank you, ma'am.
That's ridiculous.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by.
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, you're an adult. Your husband would...
Big brother.
Just a second. What would be the reason to take it to his house for safekeeping? You're an adult. Your husband was an adult. What would be the reason to take it to his house for safekeeping? I mean, I have a brother. I have things of value. I have jewelry. I live with my husband. I wouldn't think of taking a piece of jewelry and giving it to my brother and saying, would you hold this for safekeeping? I have my own house with my own safety. What do you want to say? What are you jumping out of your skin? What you're going to say is going to be ridiculous.
Should I stand?
Come on.
Yeah.
I want to say there's people stealing things from her house.
Well, that would
right
make
before he died.
That would make...
That's why my stepfather brought it over to his brother's house.
Who knows who was stealing? Who was stealing things from their house? Sit down.
Friends.
Sit down.
Not friends.
Okay. It's yours.
Thank you.
Okay. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $4,131. We're done here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Musicians with a lack of harmony.
Did you fall on her violin?
Not that I remember.
And an off-key solo.
Hold up.
Hits a sour note.
Hold up. Hold up.
Judge Judy.
It came out exactly like I expected it to.
I paid him, more than paid him for what I owed him.
I came here and told the truth, and that's the way it worked.
He's lying.
I believed she was part of our family. I thought there would never be a problem. That's why I didn't get receipts for everything.
Pendant was ours.
Probably get it in writing. Would be the best.
I hope that everything is fine.
Were you playing in a band?
I was.
And she was playing in the same band.
Musicians with a lack of harmony.
Did you fall on her violin?
Not that I remember.
Does that thing still work?
It's damaged beyond repair, and no, it is not playable. It would be almost impossible to buy another violin the same.
And an off-key solo.
Hold up.
Hits a sour note.
Hold up. Hold up.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Shelley Beard is suing Michael Locantano for destroying her violin when he fell on it.
Order. All rise. It's case number 111 on the calendar in the matter of Beard versus Locantano.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated, sir.
Violin instructor.
And where do you work from?
A school in Delaware.
And how long have you worked there?
Almost 15 years.
It is your claim that the defendant broke this musical instrument.
Correct.
And that's your violin.
Yeah.
When did you purchase it?
In 2002.
From whom?
The maker, Jeffrey Ovington.
Where is the maker?
He is deceased.
How much did you pay for it in 2002?
$11,500.
And you insured it, starting in what year?
2002.
You insured it for how much?
$11,500.
And after this incident, the insurance paid you $11,500.
Correct.
And what you're suing now the defendant for is $3,500 because that's what you say its value is now.
Correct.
And who appraised it for you?
I took it to a dealer in Philadelphia.
Is that the dealer?
No.
Well, then.
I have the appraisal letter.
No, I don't read a letter from an appraiser.
Okay.
Did you purchase a new violin if you're a violin teacher?
I haven't yet. I'm in the process of looking for another violin. It's kind of an extensive process to buy a fine violin, to try many of them. This particular violin, the maker is no longer alive, so it would be almost impossible for me to buy another violin the same.
Well, that may be, Miss Beard, but in order to replace this violin, this is what it's going to cost.
Correct.
But I don't know how much you're going to spend because you haven't found a violin yet. Maybe you'll find a violin for $9,000. Maybe they're making good ones now for $8,000. And then you will have made money on your insurance. That's a possibility, right?
Right.
It is a possibility. So we don't deal in possibilities.
The violin, a fine violin, it has appreciated. They don't...
Well, that may be. But we're not engaged in a guessing game. You placed a value on the instrument of $11,500. Now, you had the option since 2002 to increase the value. Let's say I own a diamond ring. And over the years, the diamond appreciates. I paid $10,000 for it in 2002, but now it's valued at $20,000. Well, what I would probably do if I had insurance was increase my insurance, like you increase an umbrella insurance policy, you increase if your home increases in value, you increase the value and you pay the extra $2 a month in insurance. But you valued this instrument at $11,500. If you're saying I can't replace it for less than a comparable violin that I found, well, maybe I would listen to you, but you haven't done that yet.
Well, I do have paperwork on a violin by the same maker that was sold in 2017 for $14,000, and the dealer who sold it said that because he's no longer alive and not making the current replacement value for this make of violin is $15,500.
I know that you want to read that to me. But it's not relevant. You set the value for this violin.
I didn't set the maker set it in 2002.
No, you set it when you got insurance.
I have to send an appraisal letter to insurance. The insurance company won't.
That's okay.
And I have that letter.
What I said to you is over the years, if it's increased in value, which is what you're alleging, then you increase your insurance. Right now, I don't have a value to replace that with because you haven't said to me, I had to replace it. The $11,500 didn't cover the replacement. This is what I paid for it. I bought a new violin for $12,000. But right now, you got $11,500. And if you find a violin for $5,000, then you've pocketed $6,000 from the insurance company, right? Right.
I'm still lost. I had a loss.
You have a violin.
Because
and you have
$6,000. I have equity.
And you have $6,000. That's not the loss.
Appreciation equity.
Okay. All right. Just curiosity. Oh, okay. Well, that's a very good answer. Were you a little bit loaded?
No, ma'am.
Were you playing in a band?
I was.
Okay, and she was playing in the same band?
We're in the same band, that's correct.
And you fell that day. What day?
Yes.
This is May of this year, right?
The 25th of May, correct.
5/25. So we're only about 4 weeks in. Miss Beard, when did you file your insurance claim?
I have to look exactly.
Right
I
away
filed
in
the
June.
claim. It happened on Saturday of Memorial Day weekend, and I filed the claim on Tuesday because the insurance company was closed on Monday.
And you got the check sometime in June.
I had no idea how much this violin would have appreciated. There was no reason for me to know or think that it would have appreciated that much or how much. You have to pay to go get an insurance letter.
Just a second. It's all correct. And if you had an expert witness to testify as to the value of the violin, not somebody that gives you an appraisal. Somebody gives you an appraisal on a diamond for insurance purposes. That doesn't necessarily say what the diamond is worth. Do you understand? If somebody gives you an appraisal on something, sometimes it can be a little more, sometimes it can be a little less, depending upon what you ask for. So what I'm suggesting to you is you had no idea that it appreciated that much in value. And if that's the basis of your claim, that this violin appreciated and is now a Picasso, and while I paid $100,000, now it's worth $1 million, you need an expert.
I have the...
You're not an expert. No, a piece of paper isn't an expert.
Well, this would be sufficient for the insurance company.
But it's not sufficient for me.
Okay.
An insurance company may call your appraiser and say, on what do you base that?
I had to provide this to the insurance company.
They paid you the maximum of your policy. They said, all right, you know, she's been paying for 20 years. It was damaged. We'll give her what the value is. Just for my own curiosity. Does that thing still work?
No, that's what it says in the letter. The letter...
No, don't tell me what the letter says. You can't tell me what the letter says.
It's damaged beyond repair, and no, it is not playable.
That's the answer. It's not playable. Okay. Now, do you want to continue with this action, Miss Beard, against the defendant? Because if you do, it would be unfair of me to dismiss this case with prejudice if you want to get an appraiser. And you come from what state?
Pennsylvania.
From Pennsylvania. If you want to continue this action in the state of Pennsylvania, I'll be more than happy to dismiss it without prejudice so that you can refile in the state of Pennsylvania and get yourself an appraiser.
I have the appraisal.
Appraiser!
Oh, an appraiser. Okay.
An expert. What's your pleasure? I can either dismiss it because you can refile in the state of Pennsylvania.
I guess without prejudice.
Good.
Hold up. We're not going to dismiss this without prejudice. I haven't said two words yet.
Oh, you handled that real well. Parties are excused when they step out.
We were performing in a band gig.
What happened is I actually had a medical issue.
And he had too much to drink.
That was confirmed by my doctor at the hospital.
I saw him swerve a little bit, and then...
A syncope episode where my blood pressure dropped, which caused me to pass out.
All of a sudden, he fell completely over.
The next day, they said, oh, you damaged the violin. So I don't even know if I did damage the violin or I didn't damage the violin.
And destroyed my violin.
I kind of feel bad for her. I'm just a little ticked at the way she went about handling the whole situation.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Thorne versus Moss Satterfield. Step forward.
Patrick Thorne is suing his ex-sister-in-law, Lindsay Moss, and her brother, Cody Satterfield, for loans to pay an outstanding utility bill and to buy a motorcycle.
Mr. Thorne, this is your former sister-in-law, and that's your former brother-in-law.
Yes, Your Honor.
You were married to their sister.
Yes, Your Honor.
And it is your claim that there are two.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is this your former wife?
Yes.
And this is your current girlfriend?
Yes, Your Honor.
Interesting. Do you and your ex-wife have any children?
Yes, Your Honor.
How many?
4 children.
Okay. It is your claim that these loans were made during the course of your marriage. Is that right?
We were married, but we were separated.
Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
You answered yes. So at the time that Mr. Thorne gave you money, he was not living with your sister?
No, he had left, her and the children.
In what month was it that he gave you money?
May of 2018.
For what?
It was for an electric bill to help out my grandparents.
Did you call him on the phone, or did you go to see him?
See him in person.
And what did you say to him?
I asked him if he could help out my grandparents. He's been in our family for 13 years, and he did agree because he was a part of the family.
How much money did he give you?
It was $1,500.
Did you pay him any of that money back?
Yes, I made 3
much?
payments. $300.
And Mr. Satterfield, when Mr. Thorne gave you money, was it before he and your sister separated or afterwards?
It was after.
What did you need money for?
To buy a motorcycle.
Well, that's not a need.
We were currently riding together, and we were still hanging out with each other, and I was riding his smaller bike at the time. I'm 29.
What do you mean you both agree that you need a bigger bike? If you needed a bigger bike, you buy a bigger bike. Why would he's got 4 children, buy you a bike?
He had the extra money at the time to help me out.
Does this man look like he's got 4 children, he's got a girlfriend, he's got an ex-wife? He doesn't have extra money.
He also has 2 motorcycles already, ma'am. I'm sorry.
So what? You're 29 years old. You want a bigger motorcycle, buy it. How much did he give you?
He gave me $1,900.
And how much did you pay him back?
I paid him back $250.
Your Honor, that's incorrect. $150.
I also have receipts proving that. I had paid him back extra, and he did not give me receipts for them.
You should have gotten receipts. So now I'm going to come to these questions. Why are we here today? Because now you have both acknowledged today that these were loans. They were loans that you did, in fact, start to pay back. And at some point, you stopped paying back the loans. So first I'm going to ask you, Ms. Moss, why did you stop paying back the loans?
Because in September, the house that my sister and her 4 children were living in, it needed repairs. And my brother and I spent a week repairing in September. I made a payment in June, July, and August. In September, the house needed repairs.
Which house needed repairs?
The house my sister and her 4 children lived in. The house that was in his and my...
And you and your brother...
Yes.
Did the repairs on the house?
Yes.
Well, did you and Mr. Thorne have a discussion that you wanted to barter the remaining balance of your loan for work that you did on your sister's house?
At the time, he was not speaking to me.
Well, then, you have to understand, both of you, if that's, I assume, your defense as well. If that's your defense, it's not a defense. And I'm going to tell you why.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
I somehow get the feeling that the dog would just like to say hello to the defendant. So this is the situation, Ms. Rakowski. Since she appears to be healthy and well taken care of, I think it's time that she had a permanent home.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Patrick Thorne says ex-sister-in-law Lindsay Moss and brother Cody Satterfield owe for 2 loans they stopped paying on.
You had a contract with Mr. Thorne. Your contract was he made a loan, you were going to make payments. If you try to modify that contract, and you can modify that contract, you have to have a discussion with the person who loaned you the money and say, listen, instead of paying you back a house where your kids are living that's in your name as well, and we would like to work off the balance of this in a barter. And then he would either say yes or no. But you can't do that unilaterally, which means just you, not both of you, unless you have an agreement. You can't do that.
I was still making my payments. I made the payment in June, July, and August. In September, he was not speaking to me because the relationship between him and my sister was sour. He cut off all...
What did that have to do with making your payments?
I had no way of making a payment to him.
So you didn't know where he lived?
I couldn't go to his house.
Just a second. You mail him a money order. You send him a check. That's not a reason.
I did not know his address.
Okay, well, now you know his address. You owe him $1,200. You owe me $1,850. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Well, we fixed the house. We put a lot of money and time and effort. It took us...
I moved into the house less than 2 months later.
A week to fix that house. We hauled off everything in that house.
I worked on the house for 9 days before I was able to move into it.
And then he moves in.
I literally had to take a pressure washer inside the house and pressure wash the walls.
Moves his girlfriend in, kicks my sister out. I mean...
I don't think that they did $2,900 worth of work to that inside of the house.
No, it is. It's hard to trust people.
No more loans at all.
In the matter of Valenzuela versus Rakowski, step forward.
Iris Valenzuela is suing her brother's fiancée, Cassandra Rakowski, for vet bills and pet care costs.
Miss Valenzuela, I somehow get the feeling that the dog would just like to say hello to the defendant. Yeah. Why don't you put her down so she doesn't fall?
Run. No, not with Dad. Run over there.
Oh, just friendly.
She's very friendly. Yeah, she is.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I would not have taken her to the hospital. She would not have been in the condition to admit her to the hospital.
All the doctors found that the dog was sick. Who was taking all these drugs in your house?
None. Those aren't drugs in my home.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Iris Valenzuela says her brother's fiancée, Cassandra Rakowski, left a sick dog in her care. She is suing for vet bills and pet care costs.
Mr. Rakowski, this was your dog.
Correct.
And you've been unable to be a sort of homeless situation for the last almost year.
Correct.
And you're still not able to take the dog. You're still moving around. The plaintiffs with whom you left the dog about a year ago is requesting money for the dog's care. I assume you were friends. You knew each other.
Yes, we knew each other.
Is it your intention to keep the dog?
No, it is, yes.
Okay. She looks very healthy.
Thank you.
So this is the situation, Ms. Rakowski. Since you can't really take her, and since she appears to be healthy and well taken care of, I think it's time that she had a permanent home. You want her.
Yes.
And you want her to be yours.
Yes.
And you've treated her as if she were yours.
Yes.
Well, then Miss Rakowski's not going to give you any money.
But if she was to give me a healthy dog to take care of, I wouldn't have to do, or Jesse wouldn't have to gone through all this. We went through a lot together.
In the beginning?
Yes.
Since then, you've had no trouble with the dog?
Since after she got sick, no, I haven't.
Since then? And that was within the first week or so that the dog was with you?
Yes. It took her about 2 months to get better.
Okay, and you had a vet bill?
Yes.
How much was the vet bill? How old is the dog, Miss Rakowski?
She is 5 years old.
Is that a bill that you're showing?
Yes, they're all on the top.
vet.
They're stapled
Just
together.
show me the vet bill.
There's 3 different ones, Your Honor.
Okay,
Is
I'll
that
take a
okay?
look at them.
It's from the ER.
When you first asked the plaintiff to foster your dog, did you have intention of getting her at some point?
I did.
And so you understand that if it was your plan to get her, her vet bills, I'm not talking about food, I'm not talking about any other care, but the immediate vet bills that she had for the dog would have been your responsibility, unless you wouldn't have taken the dog to the vet and you just would have let the dog die.
So I would not have taken her to the hospital. She would not have been in the condition to admit her to the hospital for any reason.
Well, all the doctors found that the dog was sick. Who was taking all these drugs in your house?
None. Those aren't drugs in my home.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
On what date in August did you bring her the dog?
She picked up Chassis from my apartment with 2 police officers on the evening of the 14th around 10:30-ish p.m.
She picked her up on the 14th?
Correct.
She took her on the 15th at the emergency room at the vet. She was sick. That didn't happen overnight.
It was late at night. I took her.
You're responsible for these bills. 1446. Judgment for the plaintiff. The dog is yours.
Thank you.
That's all. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
You said it needs oil.
I asked her before I left if I put oil in the car, could I take it?
Well, why do you think the car broke down?
She didn't put oil in the right spot. She put oil in the transmission.
Judge Judy.
She had a lot of drugs in her system.
No, there was not.
Methamphetamine, cocaine,
There was not any drugs.
THC, and antidepressants.
It is wrong. A false accusation.
Oh, I'm really happy. I get to keep Chassis.
I just want the best care for our family dog, Chassis.
I really love her.
And I'm thankful that she is and will be in good care.
That's the only thing that matters. She's with us.
After her friend grabbed her keys,
you said the check engine light is on. It needs oil.
I asked her before I left if I put oil in the car, could I take it?
it turned into a slippery situation.
I stopped at the gas station. I put the oil in there.
Put the oil in where?
In the car.
Well, why do you think the car broke down?
She didn't put oil in the right spot. She put oil in the transmission.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Ramona Clark is suing her former friend, Casey Waits, for damages and tow fees after Casey drove her car without permission and then put oil in the transmission fluid pipe.
Order. All rise. It's case number 107 on the calendar in the matter of Clark versus Waits.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat, please.
Miss Clark, defendant was a friend of yours. How long was she staying with you?
She actually was staying with me for about 6 months, but we've been friends prior for about 7, 8 years.
But she was living with you for 6 months?
Yes.
And in that 6-month period that she lived with you, did she own her own vehicle?
She did, but she wrecked her car. It was totaled out.
How much into her living with you? A month, 2 months, 3 months?
Probably about 5 months when she was living with me.
So she didn't have a car for a month?
Yes.
And it's your claim that she stole your car in the middle of the night?
Yes, Your Honor.
Wait, drive your car in the month that she didn't have a car?
She didn't drive my car.
So you're telling me she never drove your car until the evening when it broke down?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
When did your car start to have trouble?
Well, I say a week before that, my check engine light came on. And I took it to my family mechanic, and he told me it was an O2 sensor that cost $10. And the day she took my car, I was taking it the next day to get fixed. So I told her that I wasn't driving my car until it got fixed. But he said it was just an O2 sensor, that something about with the air cabin or something like that. It was nothing with my transmission or anything.
Now, the evening she took the car, she says she took the car because she had an emergency. Do you know the nature of that emergency?
No, she took it while I was sleeping.
Well, now you know the nature of the emergency.
Yes.
Well, what was the nature of the emergency?
She said something like her family member was stranded in Lincoln, out of town somewhere.
Okay. Now you know that Miss Waits had a problem with a family member that she had to get on the night of this, which was December 21st of 2018. And you know who the family member was?
Yes.
And was her niece, who was in a situation that she thought might be dangerous.
I wouldn't say dangerous.
What would you say?
I just say that I think her family member went down there with some friends and was ready to come back home.
Now, what you say are, and she put fluid in the wrong place.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, the defendant says that she asked you if she could use the car. She had this problem, and it was during the night. And you said the check engine light is on. It needs oil. Now, it got me to thinking when I was reading your complaint, if I'm having a family emergency, and you say you were sleeping, so it was late at night.
Yes.
Why would I stop at a gas station unless the owner of the car told me that it needed a fluid? If I was called in the middle of the night and I say, gee, can I borrow your car? I would get in the car and go to where the family member was having an emergency. I wouldn't go and find a gas station first to put oil in the car.
Yeah, I never told her that the car needed oil at all.
Is that true?
She didn't tell me that night, but we talked about it.
I don't understand that. That's not what you said in your answer.
Yeah, she did. She told me that. That's what I'm saying. She told me that that's why the car she wasn't driving it, because it needed oil. And when I asked her that night, she said, when we were talking prior, before we even got to the house, she was saying, well, you know the car needs oil.
Your Honor.
So I asked her.
Just a second.
I asked her before I left, if I put oil in the car, could I take it?
What time was that when you asked her?
A little after 11.
Where were you living on January 4th of 2000 with your aunt?
After the car situation.
That was on December?
December 1st, around Christmas.
What?
December 1st, around Christmas, yeah.
No, it wasn't on December 1st.
It was around Christmas?
It was around Christmas. That's not December 1st.
Yeah.
When did you move back with your aunt?
In January, I believe.
You want to show me something, Miss Clark?
Yes,
I'd like to see what you want to show me.
I have evidence of, I never told her that the car needed oil. I go get, every 3 months I go get an oil change. I have paperwork of that. And then I have text messages from her.
Why do you think the car broke down? The car broke down when she was driving it. She was a friend of yours. You never reported this car stolen to the police.
Because I told her.
Just a second.
Okay.
You never reported the car stolen to the police. Why do you think the car broke down? Because she has to be responsible for that. If she did something that caused the car to break down, whether she took the car with or without your permission, the car broke down. She has to have some sort of negligence involved in her driving the car.
She did. They said...
No, you can't tell me what they said. What they said is hearsay, unless you have a mechanic here. Are you a mechanic?
Yes.
You're a mechanic?
Mm-hmm.
Stand up.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Shh. Tell me your name.
My name is Tamara McCaleb.
Who do you work for?
I work for Branson Mechanic Shop.
Did you examine this car?
I've been working there for 5 years.
What do you do there?
I'm an assistant.
Assistant what?
I go and get cars, check them out for my husband.
Is that his company?
Yes.
Where did you do your mechanics training?
I'm just an assistant, so he just tells me.
Sit down.
Okay.
This is not happening for you. Where's the car?
It's at Emco Transmission.
And when did it go there?
January 4th.
And it's still there?
Yes, because the transmission cost $3,000 to get fixed. And the defendant says that she was going to pay for it when she got her taxes.
If she's responsible for it breaking down. What year car is this?
2007.
When did you purchase it?
February of 2018.
Who did you purchase it from?
It was a private dealer.
How much did you pay this person for the car?
$6,500.
How many miles does it have on it?
150,000.
Tell me what happened when you were driving the car.
I left from the house. I stopped at the gas station. I got gas. I got a quart of oil. I put the oil in there.
Put the oil in where?
In the car, where it says oil.
You got gas yourself, and then you went inside and got the oil.
Yes.
And you put the oil in.
I popped the hood, and I put the oil in.
And then?
And I left to go to Lincoln. I got a half hour to Lincoln, and the car started to smoke. It was smoking just a little bit at first, so I looked down to see if it was running hot, to see if that's why it was smoking. The gauge, it wasn't running hot. I'm like, okay, maybe it'll stop smoking. I drove it for another minute or two, and it still was smoking, and the smoke got thicker, and I pulled over and I cut the car off, and it was still smoking.
How long had you been in the car at that time?
About an hour, because I left from the house and then stopped at the gas station, and then...
How long a distance was it from her house to where you had to go?
40 miles, 30, 40 miles.
Now, you have to demonstrate to me that there was negligence on her part in the car breaking down. The car needs a new transmission.
Yeah, because she put oil in the transmission.
I don't know that.
She didn't put oil in the right spot.
Well, I don't know that.
Yeah, but she even admitted she put oil in it.
You just told me that you put oil where you were supposed to put the oil.
And then,
Listen.
Yes?
Listen, I'm really uncomfortable, so I think that you have to have a mechanic. That's not a mechanic. I really think that you have to have a mechanic. So I'm really uncomfortable about ruling on this case. So I think that you should take it back to your small claims court where you came from. Do you understand?
Yes.
Great. So I'm just not going to hear the case because I'm going to give you another chance to go before a judge where you come from, which is where?
Omaha.
Get him that the reason that this car broke down is because she put oil in the wrong place. Do you understand?
Yes.
Good. Very good. We're done. Thank you. Yeah.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I don't think that I'm responsible for paying for her car.
Casey, I made it to damaging my car.
Because I don't think that I did it.
On the interstate, stranded.
I just don't think so.
I had to get it towed.
Yeah, no more borrowing cars.
I'll see her in court.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Atkinson versus Green. Step forward.
Ashley Atkinson is suing her ex-girlfriend, 22-year-old Gabriella Green, for damaged and stolen property.
Miss Atkinson, you and the defendant were in a relationship for about 6 months.
Yes, ma'am.
And your lawsuit seeks two things. First, you allege that about 6 months before you broke up, the two of you were in an argument in your car.
No, ma'am. She was in an argument with her mother.
And during the course of that argument, you allege that your navigation system screen was broken.
Yes.
And you want her to pay for it because it was done during the course of the argument with her mother. It was done with her phone. And you made up after that argument.
Yes.
So I'm not interested in the navigation system. Courts don't deal with that. Two people live together, have a fight, they make up. When you break up 6 months later or a year later or 5 years later, boyfriend, husband, wife broke something 2 years ago and promised to pay for it, and they never did. We don't have courts to do that. So we're going to move on to your next cause of action. Your next cause of action is for things that you allege that the defendant stole from your house that belonged to you after you broke up. That I'll hear.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today...
Now, where are the children now?
They're back with CPS.
Why did they go back to CPS?
Because she no longer was going to take care of them. All this incident started because I asked her the amount of money because she was supposed to help me get paid for the children.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Ashley Atkinson is suing her ex-girlfriend, 22-year-old Gabriella Green, for damaged and stolen property.
Now, the end of your relationship was on what date?
May 10th.
Is that when you left?
Yes.
On May 10th?
I tried to leave, yes.
You were living in your house? Not a That's a yes or a no?
Yes.
This is a talking program. You have visual and voice. When do you allege she came back to your house?
About 2 weeks later.
So sometime towards the end of it, you brought a locksmith with you?
Yes, I had a court order.
Do you have a copy of that order?
Yes.
I'd like to see it.
Oh.
Son, come back here. Hey, that's what I do.
Okay.
Thank you. Were you ever served with these papers?
No, ma'am. They were put in my mailbox. I was at work. And then when I came home, she had already entered the house.
No, I'm not talking about served with the writ of restitution. I'm talking about served with papers for a hearing.
No, they were put in my mailbox.
Did you see them?
No.
Why not?
I was at work.
Well, you can't be at work all the time. You have to come home from work.
I'm a truck driver, ma'am. I work like 2-3 weeks at a time.
So you didn't see when the hearing was?
No.
That's why you didn't appear?
Yes. I have messages where I told her we had court, and I have them on my phone. And she knows we had court. She's been lying this whole time, Your Honor.
Oh, just a second. It's not urgently important.
I have messages.
She has a writ of restitution. She said she had property in your house. Actually, it says that you're the lawful possessor, entitled to possession of the premises. Well, that's not true, Miss Green. This wasn't your premises. This was hers.
But I lived there for 6 months.
Just a second. I don't care if you lived there. So I don't know what you said to the court. In any event, she has a writ, so it is property. I'd like to see what property you said was in the premises.
I had my clothes, my laptop, my TV. I have it on my phone, but I would have to bring it up.
No.
What do you mean?
I don't want to see it in your phone. Okay. I want to see what you told the court, if you have it, that you had in the premises. Okay. What do you allege she took from the premises that belonged to you?
She stole my passport.
Hold on. Passport.
Yes, my passport.
Okay. Did you take her passport?
By accident, because it was in the drawer.
Did you return it to her?
I have it here.
Great. Bird, would you give it to her, please? Sure. Thank you.
Along with her...
Passport and what else?
Her charm.
Okay. Passport, charm. Very good. What else do you allege she took that belongs to you?
My jewelry.
No, jewelry is a big term. When I say
necklace
somebody took my jewelry.
Necklace and a bracelet.
Necklace and bracelet.
The bracelet she bought for my birthday, which my dad can tell her. She gave it to me in front of all my family.
Is that the bracelet that you're talking about?
Yes.
Well, then you don't get that back. That's a gift. And what about the necklace?
And then the necklace she just gave to me to wear, but I left it at home. I still have it.
You have it?
I do.
Okay. So you'll return it to her?
Yes.
Great. Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today...
Her daughter came from Texas, and she was going to take over the children. She qualified and passed everything, but because her grandma's house where she was staying passed, like Department of Justice, we all passed.
Great.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Ashley Atkinson is suing her ex-girlfriend, 22-year-old Gabriella Green, for damaged and stolen property.
Now, bracelet, necklace, passport you have, charm you have. What else?
I had to change my locks.
Forget it.
Okay.
She had a lawful order to go in with a locksmith.
Yeah.
So you have your passport back, you have your charm. The bracelet was a gift to her. The necklace she is going to return within 5 days.
Okay.
What else?
That was it.
That was it? Good. They're done. Thank you very much. It's over. Move on. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
We were in a fight about an argument, and then she grabbed the phone out my hand and hit the screen. What do I look like breaking my own neck? Said that we were going to get a used screen for $200, and now that I broke up with her... I mean, it sounds good, you know? That's what happens when you don't want to pay. Now she wants $4,000 from me. Never believe anything that sounds too good to be true. I will learn from my mistakes and move on with my life.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Lopez versus Lozano. Step forward.
Maria Lopez is suing her former friend, Jennifer Lozano, for the return of the loan.
Oh, there's so much going on here. It's hard for me to even wrap my head around everything that's going on here. But I'm going to simplify it if I can. Miss Lopez, Miss Lozano dates when he's not in jail, your son, who is currently in jail. Before he went to jail, they used a car. You say it's your car. When he was going to jail, there was some issue that he may be able to get out on bail. Nobody had any money. So it was sort of agreed that there would be a title loan taken out on this car that you say is yours, that Miss Lozano says she and your now incarcerated son bought before he was arrested. Just so that we mix things in the pot, a little bit. There had to be a time when you were all happy together because Miss Lozano has 2 grandchildren, the ages of whom are?
2 and 4 months now.
And they are the children of whom?
My daughter.
Who is not in the picture.
Right, no, she knows.
And those 2 children live with, raise your hand. Well, you both raised your hand, so that's interesting. Does the 2-year-old live with you?
No.
The 4-month-old lives with you?
Not anymore, no.
So
the baby girl was born November 17th. We received her November 20th from CPS.
She was born drug addicted?
That's what I was told, yes.
Okay, and?
And so I offered to take the babies in so they wouldn't go into a unknown foster care. And
what was she doing?
She was there. Our agreement was that she would help take care of the children. And so she did.
So she was living with you?
Yes, she was staying there.
Now, where are the children now?
They're back in CPS, with CPS.
Why did they go back to CPS?
Because she no longer was going to take care of them, so they took them back to CPS. All this incident started because I asked her the amount of money because she was supposed to help me get paid for the children. No.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
The children were removed from your care?
No. Her daughter came from Texas, and she was going to take over the children. And
but they couldn't.
She qualified and passed everything, but because her mother's house, her grandma's house where she was staying, didn't qualify, they took the children, so they found them a new home.
Both children together?
Both children, yes. They were taken
So
together
they
to
have
the same home. Because nobody can pass, like Department of Justice. We all passed, but nobody else could.
Great. This is a 2000, what kind of car?
It's a 2000 Lexus GS 400.
And it's currently in her possession?
Yes, ma'am.
It's titled in your name?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll give you an order to go and get it.
Thank you.
Perfect. Now, once you get it, you can sell it and pay off the title loan that was used, at least initially, to get your son out of jail. Are we finished now? Perfect. I'm finished with this case. Thank you very much.
You didn't even hear me.
I don't care.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
An ugly breakup ends with a smash.
You reached into her car.
If she hadn't been lying about being pregnant.
If you kept your pants zipped, sir, you wouldn't have been in this kind of trouble.
Judge Judy.
Your guess is as good as mine because we got along, and once money issues were involved.
She got in a mood because we got in an argument, and she decided she just wanted to, because she had the car was in her name, she decided to take it. You know what I'm saying?
And the car has been in my name since 2015.
No, she never paid no money on it, never paid anything on that car.
As far as her marriage to County,
I have that car since my husband's been taken away.
There is no mention of the marriage.
Because, simple fact, because I guess I raised my voice to her. You know what I'm saying?
I won't be doing favors for nobody. I don't care who it is.
And she had the right to take the car because it's in her name. But it's okay. She has to tow it out of my house anyway. It doesn't work.
You reached into her car to get her phone.
Trying to pull it out of my hands.
An ugly breakup ends with a smash.
My foot is on the gas pedal. I veer away and I hit the wrought iron fence of my neighbor.
And her ex had a hand in it.
But for the fact that you reached into her car.
But for if she hadn't been lying about being pregnant.
If you kept your pants zipped, sir, you wouldn't have been in this kind of trouble.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Ashley Hamblin is suing her former lover, Jonathan Davis, for damages resulting from him causing her to crash her car.
Order. All rise. It's case number 157 on the calendar in the matter of Hamblin versus Davis.
Thank you. So I'm going to tell you, I read these papers very carefully. And, you know, I believe that everyone is supposed to be responsible for incidents that they create. And it's an interesting case because Miss Hamblin says that the two of you were dating for a while, and on this particular evening, you had some words, you left her apartment. She subsequently got into her car and because, and she was in the driver's seat and driving.
She says,
however, that because of your actions, an accident was created in which both neighbors' property was damaged and her property was damaged. That's an unusual circumstance because usually the person who was at the wheel of a car is responsible. But I read this very carefully, and I want you, in your own words, to tell me what happened on June the 7th.
Okay, so on June the 7th, I was to pick her up from her place. She had told me that she was pregnant, and then she told me that she was going to terminate the pregnancy. I was there to pick her up, to take her back to my place, to take care of her through that process. I had been suspicious that she wasn't pregnant because she had never sent me a blood test. When I arrived, she told me that she had already taken the pill, which made me more suspicious.
Taken
the abortion pill.
So she was going to go back to your house?
Yeah.
So that you could care for her?
Right.
Okay.
So she told me that she'd already taken the pill, which aroused my suspicion further. And I said, can you show me any proof that you were ever pregnant? Can you show me a receipt? Can you show me the blood test? Can you show me the pill that it came in from Planned Parenthood? She refused. She said it was in the trash, and then she said the trash was in the dump. So I left her place confused as to what happened.
So you said, I'm leaving.
I'm leaving.
Well, she told you to leave.
I left.
Okay, go ahead.
Then I sat in my car. I was parked around the corner. I sat in my car, and I called a couple friends to walk through what had just happened, because I didn't understand it all the way through. I just didn't understand why she would lie about something like that. So just kind of emoting to my friends about what had gone on. I see her across the street get in her car, which surprised me. I just wasn't expecting to see her. And meanwhile, she's calling me from her car, telling me that she's never took the pill, and...
She called you and you answered the phone, or you just took a message?
She called me, answered the phone, and she told me that she did not take the pill, and she swore at me, told me she did not take the pill. She had been lying about...
Oh, shh. You'll have a turn in a minute. Go ahead.
That she did not take the pill, and that she had lied about taking... There's some evidence that what she had been saying wasn't fabricated. So I walked across over to her car and said, can I see the pill? She said it was none of my business, and she refused to show me the pill. That's when her phone...
She's sitting in the car.
She's sitting in the car.
And you're talking through the window?
I'm talking through the window. The car is stopped.
So the window is down?
The window's rolled down. The car is stopped.
And you've been in the plaintiff's car before?
No, I've never been in her car.
Does your car have automatic windows, or does it have...
Automatic.
Okay, so now the window is down on her car.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Her phone beeps, and I reach in to take her phone to see...
That's where we're going to stop.
Yeah.
Her phone beeped. Where was her phone?
Her phone was in her lap.
So she had a phone in her lap, so you reached your hand into her car to get her phone.
Right, yes.
And?
And I wanted to see if there was some... And then she grabbed my wrists. I immediately let go of the phone. I put my hands up in the universal gesture of, I don't want to get in a fight. And I want to be clear, I didn't open the door. I didn't try to commandeer the steering wheel. And I watched as her car started to roll. This was the car had been stopped. Now the car's starting to roll. And I'm looking at her like, put your foot back on the brake. That's what I'm thinking. Then her car starts to drift. Plenty of time, just move the car back. Then she accelerates the car and plows through the yard of her neighbor across the street. I was not near the car.
Mr. Davis, the question that I'm going to listen to what the plaintiff tells me. In negligence, one of the questions that courts ask themselves is, but for the actions of Mr. Davis, would Miss Hamblin have had an accident that night with her car?
Right.
And so far, even based on the rather benign story that you tell me, I'm what we all do.
Right.
Fact finders, whether it's a jury or a judge, fact finders put themselves in a situation of the other person.
Right.
Now, I'm in my car. I started my car.
Right.
And you know the car was started because otherwise the window wouldn't be down.
Right.
So the car was started and her foot is on the brake. As you said, later, her foot was on the brake. Then you reach into the car.
Mm-hmm.
So that you're really trespassing on her property by putting your hand into her car to lift out her phone. That causes, and it's already been an emotional evening, probably for both of you, Okay, Miss Hamlin, you tell me your version of the events.
He did come to my house. We had a disagreement.
About what?
About getting a certain medical procedure that he referenced earlier. I wasn't quite sure to make a definitive decision on that matter. He left. About 15 minutes transpired. I left my home, went into my car. My car was parked on the side street.
Where are you going?
Where was I going? To the store. I have a cat. I have cats. Get cat
told me
food.
she was going to see a friend.
Anyways, get into my car. I rolled down my window halfway to let the hot air out. I do have my phone in my lap. I am text messaging. I never called him, by the way. I did not know he was still in my neighborhood.
Of course not.
Yeah, 15 minutes had transpired. I didn't even know he was still there. So I'm firing off some text messages, just fiddling with my phone, because you can't do that while you're driving in California. Next thing you know, I look up and I see him bum rushing my car. My car is now in drive. It is in gear, and I'm starting to go out to veer out of my parking spot. And he's reaching into my car, trying to commandeer my phone violently, trying to pull it out of my hands.
Just a minute, was it in your hand or your lap?
It was in my lap first, and then he reached into my lap, and then we were struggling over it.
Okay, so the phone was in your lap when he walked over?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we were struggling over it. And meanwhile, my car is, I'm trying to ascend forward, get out of the situation, try to circumvent, try not to act, and everything really happened so fast. My foot is on the gas pedal. I am in gear. I am trying to get away, and, you know, grabs my wrist, phone, I veer away, and I hit the wrought iron fence of my neighbor.
Okay, so your insurance covered that?
They did, the fence, yes.
And what about your car?
I had only liability, and so the damages, I have the estimate.
I'd like to see the
$1,531.46.
I'd like to see the estimates. Perfect. And photos of the car if you have them. Thank you. Did you need a new tire?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Davis, did you stick around after the accident?
Yes.
Were the police called?
Yes.
Is there a report?
Yes.
Can I see the report, please? Okay, the only thing that the police report said, and this is a paraphrase of what happened, says the victim was driving, witness, they refer to you as a witness, grabbed phone from her hand, causing, as I started to say, as I said a little bit earlier, but for your actions that day in waiting outside her apartment, whatever you were doing, if you were speaking to friends, but coming over to her car, even though it was not planned, and then trying to grab her property, even for the purposes of looking at it to see who she was talking to, see who was calling her, whatever it is. The whole evening was very disturbing for both of you, caused this accident. Yeah. That's what caused the accident. But for the fact that you went over, but for the fact that you went over to her car, reached into her car, which is A, illegal, and B, an aggressive action, reached into her car, that accident, the way it happened, would not have happened, but for your actions. So you are...
rebut that for a second?
Well, are we going to talk about it? Are we going to talk about the law of it?
The context, but for if she hadn't been lying about being pregnant.
Oh, you know, and if Adam hadn't taken that bite out of the apple, there's a certain cutoff point, you know. If you kept your pants zipped, sir, then you wouldn't have been in this kind of trouble. We're not going back that far.
Right.
We don't have to go back that far.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today...
What I'm telling you is, he's not going to pay you more because you're a grown-up person. If you don't like the apartment that you're living in, you move.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Ashley Hamblin says former lover Jonathan Davis caused her to crash her car when he tried to grab her phone.
Okay, we go back to the point where, but for your actions in going over to her car and aggressively trying to get her phone, this accident wouldn't have happened. And it's frustrating.
It's frustrating.
Much of what she wants, she's not going to, unfortunately, be able to get, but she is going to get the repairs for her car. She is going to get the repairs for her car, which were $1,530. That's totally reasonable because you actually caused that accident, even though you weren't involved by driving. What? You're not going to get the increase in your insurance rates and the ding to your license. And it's not happening. Okay. 1530. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Parties are excused and may step out.
There was a lot more context to the accident and why it went down.
A crime was committed. Your emotions don't matter.
There was a lot more emotional ringer that she was putting me through.
You know, I'm not going to let somebody tell me what to do with my body. I'm sorry.
Keep my hands to myself on everything, including the phone on Tinder.
Don't ever go on Tinder. No one go on Tinder.
All parties in the matter of Pope versus Watkins. Step forward.
25-year-old Amber Pope is suing her former property manager, Vernon Watkins, for the return of rent and moving costs.
Ms. Pope, let me see if I understand this. You were renting a room in a house where there were 8 bedrooms, 4 up and 4 down?
That sounds about correct, Your Honor.
And you were renting initially from someone else other than the defendant?
Yes, ma'am.
So you were living in that room starting when?
February 2nd of 2018.
And in your room, how many people were there?
So each room could fit up to 4 people. It's 2 bunk beds in each room.
Did you know who owned the house?
No, ma'am, I didn't.
But there was a leaseholder that evidently left, and Mr. Watkins became the leaseholder. You took over that lease.
Correct.
Yes.
In what year, sir?
That was April 8th of this year, 2019.
Just tell me, for my own curiosity, what kind of rent do you pay to be in a room with 3 other people in an 8-bedroom house?
Well, I paid $450 a month because before I came to that house, I was in transitional living.
And was there ever a time when there were 4 people in your room?
Yes, ma'am, unfortunately, yes.
Okay. Pay for this house a month in rent?
Per month?
Yes.
Well, it's a duplex. And we pay $5,800 per month.
Who's we?
My partner and I. We're a sole proprietorship.
Okay. So at any given time, let's say I'm taking her number of 4 rooms up, 4 rooms down. Each room can hold up to 4 people. You could actually make, if those rooms were full, $16,000 a month.
It's potentially yes.
Yes. Well, that's pretty good deal. So that's $10,000. Clear money for you.
Right, but we don't do that. We don't have all rooms full.
Okay. But you could potentially.
Potentially.
Potentially. I just wanted to know. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win this, Miss Pope, because you're probably not.
Okay.
Because once he took over the lease, you say you felt uncomfortable
Yes,
there.
ma'am.
He was letting different kinds of people in to live there, and you felt uncomfortable.
Yes, ma'am.
So you moved.
Yes, May 13th.
And you want him to pay for your moving expenses.
My prorated rent, moving costs, deposit.
Yeah, well, so he's not going to pay for your moving costs. You didn't like the new landlord. You had no obligation to stay there. You can move. That's what grown-ups do.
Yes,
They
that's true, Your Honor.
move.
However, I was sexually harassed in the situation.
Listen to me. I read your papers.
Okay.
You went around in his underwear. You don't like it? Move.
What?
You don't like it? Move. So that's what you did. Now, did you pay May's rent?
Yes, ma'am.
Is not an answer. Yes is an
ma'am,
answer.
I did.
Yes. Okay. And you lived there through May 13th.
Yes, ma'am.
You paid on the 1st of the month. When did you tell Mr. Watkins that you were moving?
I told him the week before I was moving.
Tell me about the conversation.
Well, basically, ma'am.
Not basically.
Sorry.
I just want you to tell me a week before you were moving, you said to him and he said to you.
So on May 6th, I told him I was going to be leaving because I felt sexually harassed by him.
Is that what you said? No, I don't even believe that.
Well, ma'am, I have evidence here that he asked me to be a stripper.
And what did you say?
I said, no, of course not. He said, no, I insist. You have big breasts, thick thighs, big hips. Why not be a stripper? You can make some money.
And?
I have it right here.
I'm going to look at
Now, this evidence is a conversation between me and my housemate that we have about him asking us to be strippers. He said that he's...
Just a second. Is that conversation that you had with him or with somebody else who's not here?
Somebody else who's not here, unfortunately.
I don't mean that.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I take sexual harassment complaints very, very seriously. And when somebody uses them for a leg up in this kind of nonsense, I don't, the new landlord. You pick yourself up and you move.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Amber Pope says her former property manager, Vernon Watkins, owes for the return of rent and moving costs.
What I'm telling you is he's not going to pay your moving costs.
Why not, Your
He's
Honor?
not. Why not?
Yes.
Because you're a grown-up person. If you don't like the apartment that you're living in, you move.
Well, ma'am, in a higher gentrification...
Just a sec. Don't argue with me.
Okay.
You know, I take sexual harassment complaints very, very seriously. And when somebody uses them for a leg up in this kind of nonsense, I don't buy it. I take it very, very seriously. If you didn't like the new landlord, you felt uncomfortable. He was bringing in people that you didn't like, that you didn't feel were as wholesome as the prior landlord, then you have the right to vote with your feet. You pick yourself up and you move. And if it's expensive, that's not his problem.
Well, ma'am, before he came in, I was very comfortable.
I don't care if you were very comfortable before. Now you weren't, so you move.
Yes, ma'am, but it's not that simple just to move in a height of gentrification in L.A.
That's not
I'm
his
a victim
fault.
of sexual abuse. He kept approaching me with inappropriate conversations. It triggered me psychologically, ma'am. That's the reason why I'm here.
Well,
I'm an educator.
He's not paying your moving expenses. You paid for May.
Yes.
You lived there in May.
Yes. I didn't stay to the end of May, ma'am.
I don't care.
Okay.
When you live in a place for part of a month, unless you have some sort of an agreement that you are living there on a daily basis, so you live in an apartment and you move out in the middle of the month, you pay for the month.
Okay.
You gave him a week's notice that you were moving out.
Well, not necessarily a week notice in a verbal, but I made it very clear, like, I don't want to live here anymore. So I decided to leave May 13th.
Then he said goodbye.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
You gave him a week's notice that you were moving out.
Well, not necessarily a week notice in a verbal, but I made it very clear, like, I don't want to live here anymore. So I decided to leave May 13th.
Then he said goodbye, right?
Yes, ma'am. But also, too, the fact that he purposely moved in a man dressed as a woman into my room to purposely make me uncomfortable.
You walk with your feet. You don't like the room anymore. You don't like the landlord. You don't like the roommate. Find another roommate.
But, ma'am, what about him constantly coming into my room while I'm dressing fresh out the shower? My witness Tanya even witnessed that.
Just a second.
Your Honor, my witness Tanya, she witnessed him coming into my room as I'm getting dressed fresh out the shower, unannounced, no intention to show the room to new people, no intention to make any new changes to the room, no maintenance issues. I'm supposed to be comfortable with that?
May I respond?
Here, Tanya, you saw
Listen
it,
to me.
right?
Yes, I did.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Her payment was going to be the furniture from your storage unit.
I never agreed that they could have anything. I worked very hard. Can I interrupt?
No.
Judge Judy.
Yes, I'm a grown adult, but I shouldn't have to be forced to move and pay high expense moving costs.
I have a number of other female tenants that have never had a problem, so this is all made up.
Even though the situation didn't go in my favor, the marathon continues, so I'm gonna keep fighting.
There's no way that I would disrespect any person in that way.
Who witnessed it?
There were no witnesses to the dog attack.
The tragic evidence was plain to see.
We found tufts of hair and broken pieces of fence on our property.
You had expensive vet bills, $3,000.
But the neighbor has a different view.
It didn't happen, Your Honor. Don't attacked.
It did happen. His dog was attacked. His dog was injured.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Daniel Rose is suing his neighbor, Alicia George, for damage to his fence caused by her dogs, vet bills, and filing false police reports.
Order. All rise. This is case number 158 on the calendar in the matter of Rose versus George.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Mr. Rose, you and Miss George are neighbors, and you share a common fence?
Correct, yes.
You have two small dogs.
Yes, Your Honor.
What kind?
A cross of a Lhasa Apso Shih Tzu and a Pomeranian Terrier.
And you have three large dogs.
That is correct.
What kind of dogs do you have?
I have two full-bred Great Danes and one German short-haired pointer mixed with black lab.
For how long have you and Mr. Rose had a problem about this fence?
Honestly, I think like it arose maybe the last 2 years about.
Tell me when you think it first started.
I would say We had issues with property line. After that, I believe his son moved into the house or brought a pet into the home. At that point, their dogs immediately leave their back door and go directly to our fence barking, and at which point my dogs bark back and go back to the fence. This is the first time he's actually approached us on it, of it being an issue and stating that he believes that our dog attacked his.
That one of your dogs, the German short-haired pointer.
Correct, I
mix.
believe so, yes.
Okay. And when did that happen, Mr. Rose?
April 1st of this year, 2019, Your Honor.
Who witnessed it?
There were no witnesses to the dog attack. What we found was our fence had been broken down. Once again, there were holes in the fence, and...
Is that the fence that separates
yes,
your property
yes.
from Miss George's property?
Yes, Your Honor. We found tufts of hair and broken pieces of fence on our property.
Did you take any photographs of what you found?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'd like to take a look at it.
While he's looking for his photo, Your Honor, I do have photos of what the fence was, which is this PVC pipe with
Just 1 second.
construction fence.
I didn't ask you any questions
I'm
yet.
sorry.
Are these pictures taken from your side of the fence?
Yes, Your Honor. My property. That's the tufts of hair.
And your dog is the dark-haired dog?
Yes, it's the Pomeranian.
You have an animal control report?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
I'd like to take a look at it. I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking at here on this big circle.
Those are places where their dogs have broken the fence, and our neighbors tried to do some patching on their side of the fence.
That's really not what I asked you for.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
The question that I posed to you, why don't you sit down? The question that I posed to you was a very simple one. You said that there were no witnesses to this incident, but the fence was broken. It was broken in a place where it was just between your property and the defendant's property, and you found tufts of hair. I want to see where you allege that the fence was broken, because I don't understand this picture.
Okay, I'm sorry, Your Honor. There's another picture with a larger section of fence that was replaced. That's where we
I don't want to see replaced. I asked you if you took a picture with the fence as it was on the date of the attack, not fixed.
Your
And
Honor,
the answer is either yes or no.
No, Your Honor, I don't have a picture of that. The fence was repaired before I got home from work.
Because it didn't happen, Your Honor.
Oh, just a second.
Yes.
There are certain things that we do know. We do know that his dog was injured. And we probably will find out that someone put new boards up. But my question was, so you don't know that it didn't, first of all, it did happen. His dog was attacked. His dog was injured. You know, unless it was a hawk or a coyote or something else that may have come in. It's his responsibility to demonstrate to me without a witness, because he has none, that I can draw a conclusion that I'm comfortable with that it was your dog. Now, I don't know that. So you don't have a picture of how it looks when you found your injured dog.
No, Your Honor. I believe the fence was repaired.
So then all of this is useless.
Okay.
Because I can't tell from these pictures whether one of your little dogs went onto their property and then came back. Because certainly from these pictures, a 70-pound dog couldn't get in. If this was open, they could have, but that's not what I'm seeing in your photographs. Do you understand?
I understand, Your Honor.
Okay.
I believe the fence had been repaired before I came home.
What you believe is not relevant to me.
I understand that. And you asked for the animal control report.
I'd like to see it.
I have my version of the report as well, if you would like.
I'm going to read
see
that
it
in a
as
minute. Well, at least this version of the report indicates that the animal control officer actually observed your dog breaking the fence.
We were never informed.
I don't care what you were informed about. It said when the animal control officer was there, several sections of the fence were old and weakened. While we were inspecting the fence, a medium-sized black dog at the, and crossed out name, began tearing at the fence and broke a slat when he observed the complainant's own dog near the fence. You have a medium-sized black dog?
That is correct.
Right. You don't have any animus towards this animal control officer. He doesn't even know who you are. You want to show me your version of the report?
I do, yes.
Good. I just read you this version of the report. Okay.
This was left on my doorstep.
What?
Yes. That's when animal control came 9 days later, mind you.
Just a second. What I'm telling you is, on the 2nd, the animal control officer came to speak to him the day after the incident, open up your brain, observed your dog breaking through the weakened slats. Do you understand what the animal control officer said?
I do.
Fine. Whether he left this on your door 9 days later and whether he left it on your door the same day and you, your husband, or whoever else lived there ripped it off, I don't know, because that's what people do. Please contact us about your dog. I don't know how
nothing on there by or anything.
Want to read the report?
I understand what you're saying.
All your dog's licenses are expired.
That is correct. They have been fully licensed since this day.
That would be my fault. I work 60 hours a week and I hadn't had time to get to it. So I hadn't relapsed.
I don't care. Okay, can I have the vet bill, please? Then I'm going to have a discussion with you, Mr. Rose, because I don't think that you are without fault.
I agree, Your Honor.
Why do you think you're at fault, Mr. Rose, at least partially?
The fence is old, and I've been repairing it. I have not been able to repair all of it. Budget is a limiting factor to me. So I repaired it as much as I could. In fact, the weekend that this happened, I'd put about $200 into repairs on the fence that very weekend, where the fence was broken through, where we believe the dog came through this time. I hadn't had money to get to that part of the fence yet.
That's not the only reason why I think you're at fault. I think you're at fault because, according to you, there was a prior incident involving another of your small dogs.
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
That you didn't make a big fuss over, according to you. You took care of that dog yourself, and you didn't bother the defendants with that bill. But there was a suggestion in your complaint that you believed that their dog was responsible for that injury as well.
I have
for you, because despite that fact, you kept the doggy door in place in your house, which means that despite the fact that you may not have had any cash on hand to adequately repair the fence, very easily could have taken out the doggy door until you had the money. And you were on notice that it happened before. You knew that your little dogs could go outside and her big dogs had the capacity to hurt them. And if it were my dogs, my small dogs, I would have closed off the doggy door and walked my dogs on a leash. And the people in my house wouldn't have been lazy and taken the two little dogs out, because the two little dogs aren't smart enough not to run over to. That's what they do. That's what dogs do.
Exactly.
The grown-ups who were in charge of taking care of them, especially when there are small ones and big ones who live next door and know that there could be trouble, you have to keep them safe, like you have to keep a toddler safe. So you had expensive vet bills for this dog, $3,000.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, they're going to pay $2,000. You're going to pay the rest. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,000.
We have a countersuit for this guy harassing us.
I don't care about your countersuit. Listen to me carefully.
He could have gone out of the fence. Look at the fence pictures. This is PVC pipe with just fencing. They could have crawled under it. Look at our fence. It is fully blocked off on the front. Our dogs are locked up when we're not home. This is the measly...
Madam, I want you to read the report really carefully.
I haven't even seen the report.
Well, I asked you if you wanted to look at it. You said, no, I believe you. If you want to read it, I'll be more than happy to give it to you.
That does not witness what happened, though. That witnesses what happened at that point in time. Nobody witnessed these dogs being attacked.
What you said to me was, you don't even know what had happened, but you're more than willing to say to me, my dogs, because you wrote
my
it
dogs
here.
were locked up.
You said, well, they certainly weren't locked up on the day animal control was there.
You're right, because I was home.
Well, you don't even know when this happened. You don't even know. No, just a second. Are you thick? Are you thick between here?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
They don't know when it happens, neither do you, so you can't stand there and say to me, it couldn't have been my dogs, they were locked up. When were they locked up? Whenever it was that he says it happened. Do you understand?
And later today...
Were you at the house and witnessed an incident involving the car?
Yes.
Tell me what you saw.
I see this guy run from downstairs and went upstairs, come back downstairs with a sugar, and I saw him throw it in the gas tank.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Daniel Rose says neighbor Alicia jaws by her dogs, vet bills, and false police reports. Alicia's countersuing for harassment and trespassing.
Now, they don't know when it happens, neither do you, so you can't stand there and say to me, it couldn't have been my dogs, they were locked up. When were they locked up? Whenever it was that he says it happened. Do you understand? He's partially responsible. You're more responsible. Judgment for the plaintiff in the
Your
amount of
Honor.
$2,000. Your counterclaim is dismissed. We're done here.
Your
Thank
Honor,
you.
we're not going to pay for the damage to the fence or the counterclaim for their punitive damages for filing a false police report on me.
Just a minute. You mean for harassment?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because he's been harassing us.
They say you've been harassed. Anything come of that?
Your Honor.
I called the police.
The day after the
Don't speak.
Your Honor, the day after the attack, I went to their house to ask them if they were aware of anything that happened.
That was the second.
The second. The children were out in front playing. I asked them if their mother was home. They said yes, and she's probably in the kitchen, so I went and knocked on the door.
There was an 8.5-minute video.
Did you look in my door?
Out! What word didn't you understand? It was only one syllable. Out! Out! If you try to remember something, remember, get your dogs vaccinated and licensed. Out!
Window. I was looking at the door. I stood there and waited for a couple of minutes. I looked towards where the children were, hoping one of them would come to the door and let their mom know that I was there. When they didn't, I left. I have never been on their property since. I have never harassed them. I have no interest in them. When I filed this case, Your Honor, I had to ask neighbors their names.
Just a second. Do you have a copy of the complaint she filed?
I have a copy of the police report.
I'd like to see it.
Oh, police report right here.
Okay. Well, I understand this, and I understand why she did it. I understand her motive in calling the police and saying, he's coming on my property and looking in my window, and I want him not to come into my property. I understand what motivated her. Police didn't do anything. They got the message. Do you remember the police coming to your house or someone coming to your house on April 2nd?
No.
Did the plaintiff come to your house on April 2nd?
No.
Your counterclaim is dismissed. We're done. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,000.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I think that I was wrong.
I thought her opinion was right.
He's totally responsible for our property, and he replaces his fence.
I was here to help them understand that they have responsibility as a neighbor.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Douglas versus Ricketts, step forward.
Ardian Douglas is suing his brother, Richard Ricketts, for vandalizing his car by putting sugar in the gas tank.
You two gentlemen are brothers. Your mother passed away. There's a house, maybe some other little property, and you're fighting with each other. Each one of you claims that the other caused damage to their car. When did your mother pass away?
In March last year. 2018.
Did she leave an estate?
No, she did not, Your Honor.
Did she leave a house?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is the house in her name or anybody else's name?
Her name, Your Honor.
How many siblings are there?
4.
When is it that you alleged that your brother damaged your car?
In March, Your Honor.
How did he damage your car?
He put the sugar and another type of gas oil into my gas tank.
Who saw that?
My witness right here, Your Honor, and myself.
You saw it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you stand up? Tell me your last name, sir.
Lewis.
Mr. Lewis, stand over there. Were you at the house in March and witnessed an incident involving the car?
Yes.
Tell me what you saw.
I see this guy run from downstairs and went upstairs inside of his apartment, and I saw him throw it in the gas tank. Same time, I called this guy on his phone, and then he came outside, but he didn't see when he was throwing it in it, but he saw the sugar in his hand.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You say he vandalized your car?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'd like to see it.
Yes, he kicked it. That's him right here, my brother Ardian Douglas.
Who's the other person?
I don't know, that's not me, Your Honor. He doesn't even have a car. So
I have a car, Your Honor.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Ardian Douglas says his brother, Richard Ricketts, put sugar in his gas tank. Richard is countersuing for vandalism to his car.
Okay. Did you take the car in to have it repaired?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you call the police?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have a police report?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to see it. This talks about a gun.
A gun was actually found, Your Honor.
I understand
That was did
This
pop
talks
up,
ab-
Your Honor.
this
That's a lie.
This doesn't talk about sugar in a gas tank.
Okay.
Okay. But you have 2 witnesses. Do you have a repair bill for the time you took the car?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'd like to see that.
One from Ford.
This happened in March. This bill is for May.
Yes, Your Honor, because when I take it there, I thought everything was okay, and that 2 weeks or 3 weeks period afterwards, my car started to go down.
I actually can't make this kind of connection between something that happened 2 months later. Okay. And if I asked you whether you put sugar in his car, you would say no.
No, ma'am, Your
Yeah,
Honor.
okay. Got it. Now I want you to tell me about your counterclaim. You say he vandalized your car.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'd like to see it.
And I also got the tape right here.
I'd like to see it. When did it happen?
It happened in March 2019, right after I came back from...
After he allegedly had sugar put in his car.
No, I didn't get locked up for that, Your Honor.
I know you got locked up for a gun.
I got locked up because he told lie that I put a gun to his head.
I saw that. They found a gun that belonged to somebody else. I got that. That's your car, and that's in March.
No, that is not my car. The white car, you see them playing with it, about to kick the glass out? Yes, he kicked it. That's him right here, my brother, Artie and Douglas. I don't recognize the other person, but that's my brother right there.
Who's the other person?
The one who's kicking out the side
Who's
glass,
the
if you
other
can
person?
see.
I don't know, that's not me, Your Honor. He doesn't even have a car. So
I have a car, Your Honor.
Judge Judy continues. Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Now, where was this camera situated?
It was my neighbor right beside my house because that's where I park my car every night.
Got it.
And I also got
Did
images
you
after
make
the
a
effect.
police report
Yes,
about
ma'am.
this? May
Your
I see
Honor.
it?
This is the police report. Yes.
You say it cost $700 to fix your car. I'd like to see the bill for that.
And I would love for you to look at the images as well after the effect because you haven't seen the images.
On your claim, sir, I'm awarding you $1,000 for repair as a result of him placing sugar in your tank, which I actually believe that he did. And on your counterclaim, sir, I'm awarding you the full amount of what you're requesting for the repairs for your car, which is $700, which means, sir, you get $300. Are we clear?
Yes.
That's it. Thank you.
Your Honor, I would like to talk about the other stuff that he has
I don't
did.
want to talk about two brothers harassing each other. Stop harassing each other.
Sir, wait here.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
An ugly breakup ends with a smash.
You reached into her car.
If she hadn't been lying about being pregnant,
If you kept your pants zipped, sir, you wouldn't have been in this kind of trouble.
He harassed me and caused so much stress to my life.
He's a danger against me and my other sisters and brothers.
It's just hate. And I wish we'd just come together.
When I get home, I have an order of protection against him. He have to leave out the house.
She was attracted to his bank account.
How much did you receive?
$60,000.
And all of a sudden you needed money.
But paying him back, a turnoff.
I actually have text messages of him telling me not to worry about it.
Oh, well, this is very nice of him. It shows that he's a nice person and you're not.
He began asking me out after he gave me the money. I refused him.
Listen to me, you're not a victim.
This is Judge Judy.
Todd Moody is suing his former friend, Nancy Camello, for an unpaid loan to obtain an attorney.
Order. All rise. This is case number 187 on the calendar in the matter of Moody versus Camello.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Mr. Moody, it is your claim that you loaned the defendant, someone who you knew from high school,
Correct.
$4,500 for a lawyer.
Yes.
And you needed a lawyer because you were involved in a cut.
Yes.
Okay. Tell me when you made this loan, month and year.
June 17th is the first day I met with her and gave her
June 17th of what year?
2019.
And at that time you gave her?
I gave her $3,500
Where did you get the money from?
from my bank account.
Okay. And you have proof of that with you?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to see it.
And there's two different transactions. One's the $3,500, and then the following day she asked me for another $1,000. That's why both those are highlighted, and the withdrawal slip for the $35 is on the back of those papers.
Well, one says quick pay was Zelle payment to Nancy Camello. The other one just says withdrawal on the 17th.
Yes, I withdrew the money and gave her cash because she needed it that day. She was going the following day to see the attorney.
What's the name of the attorney you went to see?
I have an ongoing case right now. It's very active. I don't know if I mean...
The name of your lawyer is not a secret.
Well, I don't know. I've never done this before. Lauren...
And you made a payment to the lawyer on either the 17th or the 18th of June in the amount of $3,500. So if I, with your permission, would call the attorney would confirm that you made a $3,500 payment either on the 17th or the 18th. Am I correct?
Well, no, actually, the amount that I needed to give her was $4,000.
That's not my question to you. My question to you is, would the attorney tell me that on or about the 17th or the 18th of June, you made a payment of at least $3,500 on those dates?
Absolutely.
And your case is ongoing?
Yes.
Now, if you had to give the lawyer $4,000, why did you take $4,500 from him?
I originally thought that I needed that amount to give for a retainer fee. I originally thought I needed that amount for a retainer fee, which I ended up giving to her that she needed. That went towards more of a retainer fee because my retainer fee has been depleted since the time that I gave it to her originally.
I just want to know, if you had to give her $4,000, which is what you just told me, why did you take $45,000 from the plaintiff?
I thought originally that I needed $4,500.
Did you give it?
I gave the lawyer
$4,000, which is what you told me.
Yes.
Did you give him back $500?
No, he was fine with it.
Well, I mean, according to this, he was your friend from high school. You sort of reconnected decades later on Facebook or one of those machine characters, and all of a sudden you needed money.
Yes.
Okay, so if you thought you needed $45,000 and all you needed was $4,000, and he was generous and be honest enough to return the $5,000 to him that you didn't need the next day.
He told me to keep it for my children.
I never knew about the $500.
Just a second. Of course not. Because you couldn't even get your story straight with me. Do you understand?
I understand what you're saying.
You understand where I'm coming from.
Yes.
You know, one of the things that I sort of find irritating is when somebody uses somebody else for money, which it appears that you did, because then you go on to complain, well, once he gave me the money, he wanted to go out on a date, and I knew he liked me from high school. What do you do for a living, Mr. Moody?
Right now I'm unemployed.
What had you done?
I was doing quality control in the warehouse.
And you had a bank account, according to this, that started out with a balance of $26,000. Where did that come from?
I had a settlement for workers' comp claim.
When?
I received that 2 months prior, so what, May area?
How much did you receive?
$60,000.
And in what month did you connect with Miss Camello?
It had been last year, towards the end of 2018.
And in what month and year did you get this workman's comp settlement?
I received that probably in the middle of May 2019.
Did you tell Miss Camello that you had received it?
No, I did not. I didn't tell anybody that I received the money. I purchased new tires for my car, and people saw that, and
Since you worked?
Since May. The same day I received that check is the same day that I was like, oh, my job.
Going to go through that money very fast, sir.
If I keep loaning people money and they don't pay me back, correct.
Well, was Miss Camello working?
No, she was not.
Your Honor, I am state-aided. So I have a child that has severe medical problems
What
that
does
I
that
stay
have to do
home
with whether or not you're working?
Well,
I mean, I'm making a judgment as to whether or not the plaintiff had a reasonable expectation of being repaid the money
He knew I couldn't repay
I'm not. Listen to me. I'm speaking. When I'm speaking, you don't. I mean, I have a feeling I'm dealing with two people who, a little bit, whatever. But you want to have to stay home with a child for whatever reason, that's your business. I have to know for the purposes of my business whether you claim this was a gift. He said it was a loan, and I have to know if he says it was a loan, from what did he expect you to pay back the loan if you weren't working? That actually is a question that would be helpful for you. So, I mean, I want you to try to be a three-process thinker.
Right.
Now, the defendant wasn't working.
Correct. She wasn't working, but she was receiving a check every month.
Just a second. She was receiving a check every month from what and in what amount?
The amount I do not know. I was never told the amount.
From what?
From state aid.
She was receiving governmental assistance, sustained, but doesn't make you rich. Doesn't certainly make you rich enough to pay back $4,500.
Not right away, no.
Well, how long do you think it would take at $10 a week to pay back $4,500?
We'd agreed on $20 a week, not 10, but it did be a long time.
Just 1 second. You agreed on $20 a week.
Correct.
Starting when you gave her the money, which was in June.
Yes, so starting July 1st.
Now, Miss Camello, did you agree to pay back Mr. Moody this $4,500 at the rate of $20 a week.
No, we did not. We never had such an agreement.
How do you support yourself?
I do get help from my mother, but it's a hardship on her to help me.
She's your mother.
Yeah.
So you get help from your mother. Who else do you get help from?
State aid.
Well, the state aid is different from your mother.
Yeah.
And how much do you receive in state aid?
It was $748 a month, but my son just turned 18, so they lowered it to $604. I brought that with me if you'd like to see it.
Do you have additional care for your son? Does he require additional help?
Well, I mean, I help him in regards to his medical problems.
What I'm saying to you is, in addition to yourself, is there another health aid required to help take care of your adult son?
No, ma'am.
Did he?
Teacher came to the house to teach him.
Until when?
He graduated at the beginning of this last June, 2019.
And you're involved in a custody battle, according to the papers here. And the custody battle involves what child or children?
I have a 1-year-old daughter, and yeah, I needed to establish custody because I was physically assaulted by this person.
You have a 1-year-old child, you have an 18-year-old who needs assistance.
Yes.
And then you have a 1-year-old.
Yes.
Has the 1-year-old lived with you continuously since birth?
Yes.
And who initiated the proceeding in court? Who is the plaintiff in the court action?
With my child?
With your 1-year-old.
I am.
When was it initiated?
I got my lawyer, I hired the lawyer on the 18th of the day after Mr. Moody gave me the money. So I actually have my court paperwork. We went to court a few weeks after that.
Was the father of the child granted any visitation?
Only once a week for 2 hours.
So the answer is yes, once a week for 2
Yes.
hours. Did your mother give you any money towards the lawyer?
No, she could not. That's why I asked for
I'm just asking.
help.
So
Yeah,
the answer is no. When is your next court appearance?
Well, it was supposed to be on the 23rd, but I just got a call this morning, so there's going to be a continuance. They said 22 days from the 23rd, so sometime in October.
Okay, so now you have no reasonable expectation of being paid back.
I still agreed. I thought we were going to stick to our agreement of the payment of the $20 a week. I didn't know that her payment got lowered, so we haven't talked. Ever since I mentioned coming to court, we don't talk.
It doesn't make any difference, sir. From $600 a month to take care of herself, a 1-year-old, and an incapacitated 18-year-old adult.
He's more capable of getting around. I've met him.
You don't do that on $600 a month and expect to pay back.
I never knew the dollar amount of what she was getting.
Well, then you should have. Actually, you should have. If I was to lend somebody $5,000 and all I had in the bank was $20,000 and I'm not working, I would find out if it was just an arm's distance loan, how much you're going to pay me back and where are you going to get the money from?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
When did you go out for dinner with her?
We never did.
Never.
She thought it was a date, but I said, bring your kids and bring my daughter. That's not a date.
No, Your Honor, I have a text, him asking me to go look at the moon with him. We never went out to dinner.
Listen to me, you're not a victim.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Todd Moody sends his former friend, Nancy Camello, for a custody battle.
If I was to lend somebody $5,000 and all I had in the bank was $20,000 and I'm not working, I would find out how much you're going to pay me back and where are you going to get the money from?
She planned on getting the money from her ex by filing for him to pay her attorney fees, and that's what she was going to pay me back with. That's what she had said, because she went to court on the 9th, and that's when, after the 9th, she never responded back to me, so on the 19th is when I went to go file for small claims.
On the 19th of?
July, 2019.
Your Honor, that's not true. I have several text
How
messages.
could you go to file on the 19th of July? You mean 4 weeks later you went to file?
Yeah, and she was. I told her about it on the 25th of July of this year. She had made no attempt to do anything. She didn't call me and tell me I don't have the money right now. Because I told her that you don't.
When did you go out for dinner with her?
We never did.
Never.
No, we didn't do it. She thought it was a date, but I said, bring your kids and bring my daughter. That's not a date.
No, Your Honor, I have a text, him asking me to go look at the moon with him. I have other text messages.
Listen to me.
We never went out to dinner.
Listen to me. You're not a victim.
I'm not.
You're not a victim.
Not saying that I am.
You're not a victim. You needed money, and if you needed money, and if he wanted to give it to you because he was, I don't know, smitten in high school, that's the only reason somebody would give you $4,500. When they only have 20. What?
And because of her daughter. I have 4 kids, and I know what it's like to have your kids taken away.
That's what she was
afraid of.
I was not afraid of that.
No.
I have a restraining order on this person.
Shh. Don't speak. No, that's not what she was afraid of. She's the plaintiff in the action, sir. She's the plaintiff in the action.
I understand that, but she had no attorney, but he did, so that's what she was afraid of.
She's the plaintiff in the action. He wasn't asking for custody. She's the plaintiff in the action. I don't know under what circumstances she's the plaintiff in the action. However, I think, Ms. Camello, that you should stop paying him back $20 a week. I think that was your agreement.
That was not. I actually have text messages of him telling me not to worry about it.
Oh, I'd like to see those.
Okay.
That would make it not to worry about paying him back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, not to pay him back.
Shh. I'm going to read them.
Okay.
I'm going to read them.
The first set I have...
No, just show me. Don't read it.
Okay. Let me see. Here's that agreeing. He's agreeing.
Don't tell me what he's doing. I'll read it and interpret it myself.
Here, here you go.
No, don't give me all that junk.
Well, I'll have to look through, Your Honor.
I'm not listening. Oh, well, clearly, if this is what you're showing me, Miss Camello, the plaintiff expected to be repaid because you say to him, hey, good morning. I wanted to know if you would be okay July 4th if the judge makes Alan pay my attorney's fees. And if so, I'm hoping I could just give it all back to you in one lump sum.
Yes.
Quiet. If that's not okay, after paying my bills, I have a little money left, and I can give you at least a little payment back to start off with. Just let me know, and happy 4th. So now we have clearly a loan.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Oh, this is very nice of him. It shows that he's a nice person and you're not. It says, okay.
It looks a certain way, but it's not that way.
Okay. No, that's way...
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Todd Moody claims former friend Nancy Camello borrowed money to fight a custody battle and refuses to pay him back.
Now, you say to him, hey, good morning. I wanted to know if you would be okay with me waiting to see if the judge makes Alan pay my attorney's fees. And if so, I'm hoping I could just give it all back to you in one lump sum. So now we have clearly a loan because you say, I can give it back to you, I hope, in one lump sum fees. Because I don't work.
Yes,
and the thing that one of the things that you don't do, one of the things that you don't do if you have difficulty taking care of one child is having another one.
Well, I was engaged to this person, Your Honor.
There's no question. There's no question out there for you.
And I cannot predict the future.
There's no question out there for you. What you just gave me supports the plaintiff's allegation that you understood you had to give this money back. You were hoping the court would order somebody else to pay it. But if they didn't, you had a little left over from what you get every month, and you could start to make payments. That's what you say in the text.
I'm sorry, I have to look through these. There's some other text messages where he's saying otherwise, agreeing to other things. But...
Well, I'd like to see them. But right now, the text dated July 4th acknowledges a loan. Now, if what you want to show me is that he forgave the loan, because right now, this acknowledges a loan. So only show me where he forgave the loan.
If I may have a moment to look for that.
You can have all the time you need.
Okay, here we go. Let me see. Let me see. Well, here's one.
I need the date of this.
There's no date on that one?
No. Oh, this is very nice of him. It shows that he's a nice person and you're not. It says, okay.
It looks a certain way, but it's not that way.
Okay. No, that's way...
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Oh, this is very nice of him. It shows that he's a nice person and you're not. It says, okay.
It looks a certain way, but it's not that way.
Okay. No, that's way... Okay, he says to you, but I'm not in a rush, and if it causes you to be short on anything, please let me know. I don't want to be added stress. I'd rather you take longer than not have money for your bills or your kids.
Your Honor, He began asking me out after he gave me the money. I refused him. I have a text of him telling me he wants to buy me Chanel perfume. I told him no.
Do me a
I don't
favor.
want
I don't
anything
give.
from
I
him.
don't listen to me. I
said
don't
no.
listen to me. I don't give a rat's behind. Out afterwards.
Well, he's
at the time,
suing me because I
I'm
said
speaking.
no
I'm
to
speaking.
him.
Listen, you don't look like that much of a prize. Let's move further. You
That's
acknowledge
really
in the text
rude.
and you acknowledge in the texts that you gave me that it was a loan. He was a nice guy. He said, so you can't give it back to me all at one time, because at first you said, I think the judge is going to let me get the counsel fees from Alan, who was evidently the father of this 1-year-old. Didn't happen, so I can pay you back little bits at a time, because I have extra money. He's a nice enough guy. He said to you, I don't want to stress you. If you need more time, take more time. And the response to that niceness is you're saying, well, he really was harassing me because he really wanted more from me than just friendship and being a nice guy. And that's why he's doing his judgment for the plaintiff.
Late at night,
Judgment for the
stalking
plaintiff
me.
in the amount of $4,500. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
He liked playing video games and staying at home with the dog. That was it.
A defiant son.
I said, Nicholas, if you're choosing to not go to college.
I want the dog back.
And he said no.
Next Judge Judy.
He stalked me out.
Stalking, that's funny, because I wasn't stalking her. I was at my house. The only time I went over there was when she invited me over to give her the money.
He continuously asked me out, and I said no. I don't want to go out with you.
I asked her out to dinner because I know what it's like to be depressed. Don't sit in the house. It's going to make it worse.
I told him that I was very depressed with what I was going through and to please leave me alone.
She called me crying. I didn't answer my phone. And so I called her back. I texted her, are you okay?
I told him that I needed money.
No, horrible. She started telling me what was wrong. So I started talking to her. She said, needed money.
That was our original agreement. But then he said, don't worry about it.
I had it. She's a friend since high school. And I didn't want to see her lose her kid, so I helped her out.
And then he started posting things on social media.
I thought I was helping a friend, not somebody who just wanted my money and then be gone.
It doesn't matter at this point. It's done. It's over.
Nobody else is getting money unless her family.
I don't ever want to see his face again, and I want to leave now.
A divorcing dad.
It's a family dog that I bought.
The fact that you purchased the dog is totally irrelevant.
A defiant son.
He liked playing video games and staying at home with the dog. That was it. Didn't want to go anywhere.
You were clashing with your 17, 18-year-old son. Been there, done that.
A divided family.
I said, Nicholas, if you're choosing, he said no.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Sean Pitcher is suing his son, 18-year-old Nicholas Pitcher, for the return of his husky, Luna.
Order. All rise. Yeah, it's case number 145 on the calendar in the matter of Pitcher versus Pitcher.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat, please.
Mr. Pitcher, this is your son, and he's 18. This is what I gather from reading your papers. You and his mother have been separated for about 5 years, but never finally divorced. And your son has sort of moved freely between your house and his mother's house.
Yeah, we have shared custody,
So he moves easily
50.
between
Yeah.
both homes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is the shared custody a court order, sir, or is it something that you've worked out with his mother?
It's a temporary court order.
And when was that put into effect?
In 2015.
And it's been working reasonably well?
Yes.
Now, did you stay in the marital home, or did your wife stay in the marital home?
We actually had properties in North Carolina and Florida and a couple businesses, so we...
Okay, so you now each have your own residences
Yes.
in Florida. How far away are they from each other?
Approximately 20 miles, about 10 miles is Midway.
And is this your daughter?
Yes.
How old is she?
She's 14.
And do you also have shared custody of your daughter?
Yes. All of our kids. We have 5 children.
Okay. Now, this case involves a dog. It involves probably a lot more than a dog, but for me, I only have to deal with the dog. This dog's name is Luna.
Yes.
And when was Luna purchased?
About 3 years ago.
So the dog was purchased at about the time you went to Florida?
Yes.
And you have another dog?
Yes. We've actually had several dogs throughout the last 4 years.
How many?
Well, not counting that household, we've had 3.
In the last 5 years. And what happened to those dogs?
So the one was a German Shepherd, and she ended up getting cancer in her left paw, and it spread pretty quickly, and she ended up passing away. And then the third dog is a English Bulldog, which we have now.
And when was the English Bulldog purchased?
Approximately a year ago.
And that was purchased in your home?
Yes. So was Luna.
Now, what kind of a dog is Luna?
Husky.
And who was with you when you purchased Luna?
All the kids.
Now, when your son visited his mother, or the custody went to his go with him?
Periodically, not all the time.
When you say periodically, would you say 50% of the time Luna went with him?
Much less.
Is that correct?
No, there was a period of time where she continuously went with me between him and my mother's house. But then starting back in January, he would refuse to let her go back and forth anymore.
Starting this past January?
Yes.
In January, she was with you?
January, she stayed with him.
Until when?
Until about February.
And where has the dog lived since February?
With me at my mother's house.
Is that correct, Mr. Pitcher, that Luna has lived with your son and his mother at his mother's house since February of this year?
That is correct, but there were stipulations.
I don't care what the stipulations are. I'm thinking about the actual physical presence of the dog in a house other than your house. Now, what other dogs are there in your mother's house?
We have a Canadian Pointer, and she was a rescue, pretty old. She's a black and white as well.
So you have one other dog?
Yes.
And Luna?
Yes.
Now I'd like you to tell me the circumstances in February of Luna going to your wife's house with your son, because he has been living with his mother since February. Is that what I gather from here? February, March, April, May, June, July. We're now in August, so for almost 7 months.
So each of our kids have a chore at my house. Clean his room and do his laundry, which we ended up having to bring down. Because that was his chore, he became attached to that dog, kind of assumed it was his own. It's always been...
Don't tell me what his assumption is.
Well, he was requesting, as of January, we've always had, or since about December, we were having problems communicating because he didn't like following the rules. Part of the requirement of having the dog in the house up at his room was he had to clean up after the dog and watch the dog. I found the dog chewing on AA batteries, which could have been very dangerous. And so I agreed that he needed to, number one, find a therapist for him and I to go to, and we had...
Right, you were clashing with your 17, 18-year-old son.
Exactly.
I got it.
Standard stuff.
I've been there, understand that, understand all that. You were clashing with your son, just like occasionally your daughter is going to clash with her mother.
Exactly.
That's what girls do with their mother, and that's what boys do with their father.
So he was going to go to college, so I said, if you want to take the dog to your mom's house, I don't mind, but number one, we have to go to therapy together, and number two, when you go to college, you need to return the dog. I had concerns that he was getting too attached to the dog and he's going to college. So when he goes to college, he can't take the dog to his dorm room, and so he started to find a therapist, and he wanted to take the dog, and he had a big argument with me about it. And I said, Nicholas, we're still not going to therapy yet. You haven't fulfilled kind of the agreement, because he was getting ready to graduate high school. So I had those stipulations. He came in February sometime, and I have the text message. And he was like, listen, the dog needs to come with me. And I got frustrated with him, and I said, fine, you can take the dog, but we still had the therapy scheduled. So I actually ended up letting him take the dog before we went to therapy, even though my initial stipulation was we'd have to go to therapy. We went to that first therapy session, and when it was his time to say why we're there, he asked me to leave. He was 18 at the time, so I left the room. And I don't know what else happened in the room, but when he came out, he seemed upset. I said, okay, well, the next time we need to go to therapy, let me know. He never called me again. I assumed he was still going to therapy because he had what his mom and I had discussed was some anxiety about kind of going out into the world. He liked playing video games and staying at home with the dog. That was it. Didn't want to go anywhere. Right before his graduation, I found out he quit his job. He was not going to go to college. He had been accepted to an East Coast college that we went and toured in October. And he was going through testing in high school right then, so I wasn't going to instantly ask for the dog back. So I waited until he graduated, and 5 days after he graduated, I sent him a text message and I said, Nicholas, if you're choosing to not go to college, not to complete your education...
I want the dog back.
I want the dog back.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
And he said no.
Got it. Nicholas.
Yes.
It sounds to me as if you have very involved parents. You would say are very involved parents. I mean, many of the parents that I see here are not involved parents. They wouldn't think of saying, listen, things aren't going well between us. Let's see if we can get to the cause of this problem and see if we could work it out. They'd say, you don't like that? Goodbye, my heir. Here's the door, goodbye. So it seems as if things have been going pretty well over the last 5 years with shared custody, parents who have both tried, despite the fact that they don't get along, but they've tried to co-parent the 5 of you. From my own information, not that it's particularly relevant long-term for this case, what are your plans?
My plans?
Your plan.
Okay, well, I got a job at a movie theater. I'm a box office attendant.
And you intend for that to be your career?
Not necessarily. I would also like to learn day trading and trade the stock market.
Okay, well, day trading is very interesting. A little education would help you in that direction. What school were you accepted to in the East?
I was accepted to Embry-Riddle.
Had you visited it?
Yes, once.
Did you like it?
Yep, the school was nice.
And what was it that caused you to decide not to go?
Mostly financial. I wasn't getting that much financial aid, and both my parents said they weren't going to help me pay for it.
So you didn't want to go into a hole for school?
Yes.
Did you explain that to your father?
I did not explain it to my father, because this happened after we separated.
Is this the first you're hearing that the go? Is this the first time you're hearing it?
It's the first time that that's the reason being used, yes.
Okay. Is it accurate that other than the financial aid that he was getting at the school, that he was on his own for the purposes of loans for the rest of tuition?
So in November, I told Nicholas, because we went in October, and we were waiting for his acceptance. So I told him in November to start applying for the grants. The school has a whole list of grants.
He didn't apply for grants?
He didn't do any
Applied
of
for
them.
the grants. Okay.
So finances were the problem.
Well, now he's saying he didn't do it, which is 17-year-old. Some of them are really go-getters and applied to all of these nuanced grants around the country, and some are not.
Mm-hmm.
And he's one of the nots. So right now you're working at a theater.
Yes.
And it sounds to me as if you have the ability to do reasonably well on your SATs.
Yes.
So are you foreclosing college or some sort of a trade place as something for you to do?
I would consider it in the future once I have savings, but right now I don't want to go into debt.
Okay. Did you discuss that with your mother?
Yes.
Does your mother work?
She is a realtor.
So she works?
Yes.
And I assume you're working?
Yes.
Okay. So right now, Nicholas, you're living with your mom and Luna.
Yes.
And you've been living with your mom and Luna, who was 3. I assume that based upon what your father has told me, is that Nicholas, while Luna was living with you, cared for in his own way, despite the fact that he almost ate a battery. Luna was in his room. He treated Luna as if the dog was his dog.
Well, his chore was to take care of the dogs. The dog did...
There were 2 dogs. His chore was to take care of both dogs.
He took both dogs to his room. He was allowed to take both dogs to his room if he cleaned up after him. So then there was a point where, and that's why he got mad at me, he wasn't cleaning up after him, so I said, they need to go out. We live on a farm. I have a few acres with horses and so on. I said, the dog is going to go out by the barn in a doghouse. And that's where he really got upset and wanted to take it to his mom's and stay with his mom, because I would no longer allow the dog to be in the house if he wasn't going to clean up after her.
Who takes care of the other dogs in your house?
So Chloe takes care of the horses and the other animals. So each child has kind of their own.
Fine. So Chloe takes care of the horses.
Now Anthony, my other son, takes care of BB, who's the last dog that's left.
And your other son, he's 10.
No. So we have 5 children between us, and 3 years ago I met a girl, and she had 2 kids where the dad wasn't really involved. So I've pretty much taken them in. I consider them my daughter and son as well. And he's 14, same as Chloe. And
so he takes care of BB.
He takes care of BB now. And when Nicholas was gone, he was the one that would fill in for Nico, taking care of BB and Luna.
Unless it was during those times when Nicholas took...
It was very rare, yes.
Unless it was
that's true.
during those times that Nicholas took Luna to his mother's house.
But then he still took care of BB, because BB wasn't going to Angela's house.
Who?
Anthony.
Anthony,
Yeah.
your girlfriend's son.
Yes.
So other than those few times when Luna stayed at home, when your son went to his mother's house, and since February of this year, Luna has been full-time with Nicholas.
So, Your Honor, we went to Spain in November, and before that, Luna had only went to Angela's house 1 time. Literally,
Okay.
I have the text message where...
Okay.
So only after November did she start going more often to Angela's.
Fine.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Actually, Nicholas never asked me for the dog. Chloe is the one, that's why I had her here with me. Chloe asked to buy the dog as early as August of 2015, and we
Well,
looked
how did Chloe feel about Luna going to stay with her mother? How did you feel about that?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Sean Pitcher says his son, Nicholas Pitcher, is wrongfully withholding his husky, Luna.
So would you say that after this started to spend more time at his mother's and take Luna with him?
Not every time.
I didn't say every time,
Yeah.
but you just said it's more
he started
often
to take
in
her more
November.
often. Yes,
So
exactly.
now we're talking about December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July,
But
and
in
August.
So in January 16th, Angela wrote me a text message asking if I could reconsider allowing him to take her.
I got that.
So in May, I requested the dog back. It's
I
just
don't
been
care
that
whether-
long since
I don't
May.
care whether you requested the dog back. You know, I understand what your situation is, and I honestly believe that you think you're right. Your son broke a contract with you.
Well, so I have other kids that aren't at Angela's house, right? I have 3 other kids now. I have Anthony and Leah, and then we had a baby in April that have all been involved with Luna, too. They don't get to see Luna at all. It's a family dog that I bought. Matter of fact, actually, Nicholas never asked me for the dog. Chloe is the one. That's why I had her here with me. Chloe asked to buy the dog as early as August of 2015, and we
Well,
looked
how did Chloe feel about Luna going to stay with her mother? How did you feel about that?
Well, I think Nico had mainly, like, cared for her, so I think that he was really attached to her, so...
Okay. Okay, I'm not going to ask her anymore. You seem like a family that's got it all together, and I'm not going to put one person in. Mr. Pitcher, I think you are a good father. I think you are a good, loving, caring father. I think that you want to see the best for your children. I think that right now and for the last 8 months, which is almost a third of the dog's life, the dog
Your
has...
Honor,
I'm speaking. The dog has lived with his primary caretaker, which is Nico, is that what they call you? The dog is 3. He's been primarily with Nico for the last 8 months, which is a third of his life. Now, to bring him back to your house, that would mean that I am disrupting not only your son, but I am disrupting the dog.
No, the dog...
This is not a give and take, Mr. Pitcher.
Your Honor,
Mr. Pitcher, did you hear how I
understand.
sat quietly and listened to you give me information
I just
on
want
which
you to
on which I have to make a judgment? What I'm saying to you is, very simply, I either remove the dog from one child, and I'm speaking, and put it in another child. Right now, the fact that you purchased the dog is totally irrelevant.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You keep saying no to me. This works to your advantage. If you would just paid attention, maybe you would see that it works to your advantage.
Okay.
Don't tell me what you said. This is not your time to talk. This is your time to listen.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Sean Pitcher says his son, Nicholas Pitcher, is refusing to return his husky, Luna.
Right now, the fact that you purchased the dog is totally irrelevant. It's irrelevant to this because, I'm speaking, because you have not divorced. So anything that you and your wife buy is marital property.
We had already done equitable distribution as a final judgment, Your Honor. So all money...
Just a second.
Okay.
In what year?
In 2016. What the...
Just,
I have a copy of it.
Just a second.
Okay.
In 2016. Just give me the month in 2016.
I have to find the copy.
Was it January of 2016?
Yes, ma'am.
Your wife says it was January in 2016.
I'll believe that. It's fine. But we said...
Okay. Don't tell me what you said. This is not your time to talk. This is your time to listen. So, if you did your equitable distribution in January of 2016, when was Luna purchased?
It was the equitable distribution...
That's a date.
It went back to our separation, is what I'm saying.
When was Luna purchased?
November 20th of 2015.
Okay, so Luna was purchased. This works to your advantage. If you would just paid attention, maybe you would see that it works to your advantage. If Luna was purchased in 2015...
Yes.
Luna was marital property that should have been addressed in the separation agreement that you both signed in January of 2016. Was there any mention of Luna in that agreement of January 2016?
Nothing specific.
Nothing.
Yes.
Okay, then I can make a decision de novo on Luna. And my decision is that for the last 8 months, the dog has been in primary residence with your wife and your 18-year-old son. I see no valid reason to change that now, and that is despite the fact that I think that you made an agreement with your father. I think that, when did you turn 18?
I turned 18 in February.
Was that before or after you made an agreement with your father to go for therapy?
It was after I made the agreement to go to therapy.
And you didn't. So I want you to know you had an agreement with your father. And on a grown-up level, not a legal level, but on a grown-up level, that was an agreement that you should have adhered to, especially the therapy part. Even if the therapist that you went to had an opinion that was inconsistent with yours. Do you know what I mean?
Continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by.
Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Now, dogs staying where it is. I'm just suggesting that as a parent, you might want to try again and let Nicholas select a therapist.
He made an agreement, and now he's breaking it. What is he learning as an 18-year-old?
We're done.
Parties are excused when they step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
He didn't even create the website. She didn't get what she paid for. He did do something for you. Correct. If you're not satisfied with someone's work, you don't pay them nothing.
Judge Judy.
Following the rules, it's been an issue with all the older kids, and
Well, I usually always say yes to him. I think this is finally one of those times where I put my foot down and said no, and he didn't like that.
you know, if you have the choice of following the rules in one home or pretty much having some freedom in another home, where do you want to be?
I believe I want to make my own way. I don't want to do what he wants me to do.
I think he's able to stay there, and you know, she doesn't want to be the bad guy and be
He makes his own decisions. I just try to give him a good home.
forced him to do some of the things that she needs to do as a parent.
Yeah.
Decisions, and decides to actually go to college.
I would hope so. I'd love to have a relationship with my father.
That's my rule. At the end of the day, I hope that ends up that way.
Hopefully down the line, but right now, I mean, he sued me, so that takes some time to heal.
A web designer won the job,
You thought that the cost of $1,000 was reasonable.
Yes, Your Honor.
but then lost the client.
He didn't even create the website.
It's not worth $1,000. She didn't get what she paid for. Mr. Penn did do something for you.
Correct.
You left him totally without compensation. If you're not satisfied with someone's work, you don't pay them nothing.
This is Judge Judy.
Melanie's Gaskin is suing graphic designer Loston Penn for scamming her out of $1,000 after he failed to deliver a website and promotional materials.
Order. All rise. This is case number 134 on the calendar in the matter of Gaskin versus Penn.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat.
Miss Gaskin, what you're alleging is that Mr. Penn, who you hired to do a website for your business, or I don't know what that is, but that's also on the website, you paid him for it.
Yes.
And you claim that he didn't do it. And you had his bank reverse the charge.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Penn appealed that, sent the bank, I assume, copies of what he sent to you. They reversed the charge and withdrew the $1,000 that you had paid him from your account.
Yes, Your Honor.
You then say, in the interim, you hired someone else to complete the website and paid that other person $600.
Yes, Your Honor. $650.
So we're going to go through this step by step, but I want you to understand where my head is when I look at your facts, which you just agreed were accurate. Now, I assume that when you hired Mr. Penn, you were a business person and you thought that the cost of $1,000 for what he was going to provide you was reasonable.
Yes, Your Honor.
Otherwise, of course, you wouldn't have paid him.
Correct.
And by acknowledging that you hired someone else to, what you say, finish the job at far less of a cost than what you had paid to the defendant, you are acknowledging that his work that he did for you was of some value. Do you understand?
I understand, Your Honor.
But the numbers, the minimum, $400 worth of work for you. That's what you're admitting to me.
No, Your Honor, I'm not.
No, well, you are. Because if you are a business person and you paid Mr. Penn $1,000 because you thought his fee was reasonable, and you paid, according to you, and these are your words, someone $600 to complete the work, you are acknowledging that Mr. Penn did at least $400 worth of work. There's no question in my mind, unless you were a silly businesswoman and were paying him almost twice as much as you should have to do the website, which I don't believe, and which you don't say. So do you understand what I'm saying to you?
I understand, Your Honor.
All right. So that's not a fraudulent reversal. If you think that you didn't get what you paid for, then you can put a partial stop or you can sue him. But what you did was not give him any money for the work that he did do for you that was completed by someone else at far less money. It wasn't that you said to me I had to destroy everything that he gave me and this new designer had to start from scratch.
He did,
and I
Your
got
Honor.
this? No, I don't believe that. Are you the designer? No, I don't believe that because that's not even what you say here. We understand each other?
I understand, Your Honor.
Very good. Now, may I see what it is that you...
Thank you.
Now, I would like to see what you say he provided to you.
He just provided me...
Don't say anything. Hand it to me.
He didn't provide a website. He only provided me proof, which what you have right now, because I don't have anything from him, but emails of the proof of the business cards that he designed.
Did you send her business cards?
Yes, ma'am.
I did not get them. I don't have anything. I don't have business cards. I don't have banners.
I want you to get me a business card from your purse.
I don't have a business card.
Well, you told me that you paid someone else $600 to complete the work.
Yes,
If you
I
paid
don't have those.
Do you have someone else in your office now?
No, Your Honor.
Then I'm not believing you. Do you still run your business?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then I don't believe
I have a website up right now.
I don't believe someone who runs a business does not keep a card in their wallet. So I want to see if it's the same card as what he gave you.
I can show you a proof.
Or if it's a different card.
I don't have anything from the defendant.
No. I'm not asking you anything from the defendant. You said you didn't receive anything. He said he sent it. Pay careful attention to me. You said you paid someone $600 to complete the project. You said part of the project was business cards.
Yes.
Which means that you paid the someone else $600 to do business cards
I paid
for you.
someone to print them. The new developer did not print them for me.
This was done a while ago. Are you telling me that you didn't print business cards?
I printed. I sent it to
Then I
Vistaprint.
want
I don't
to
have
see
the
them.
business cards,
Then I
Your Honor.
don't believe you.
Okay,
Do you
Your Honor.
understand?
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes. I have them at home. I did not think that I had to bring them.
Well, that's unfortunate because that's what we're doing here. We're here to decide your case. And so far, you said you gave someone else $600 to complete the job. And if completing the job was just to provide you with a pro forma for the business cards, that's what he did because that's what I have here.
Your Honor, I have a document right here showing what I paid for. It says 500 double-sided flyers and print. I didn't get the print. I didn't get the double-sided business cards. I didn't get anything. He didn't even create the website.
You're not following what I'm saying to you, madam. Maybe you're following me, but you don't like what I'm saying to you. You said in your complaint that you paid someone $600 to do the rest of the job and to complete the job. What you're telling me is that part of that job was to do business cards.
Yes, Your
So
Honor.
what you're telling me is you paid someone else $600
to design
that
the
did
business
not.
card.
Well, he designed the business cards. It's your fault. That's your fault. And I don't know what you used because you don't have them with you.
The new developer had to redo the website.
I don't
He had
know.
to redo the banner.
Listen to me.
That was not included in the print. And that's why I only paid him $650 because he didn't print them. He doesn't offer that. But the defendant does, and that's what I paid for. And I didn't get anything from him.
That's not what he says.
I didn't get anything from him. He doesn't have a UPS tracking number or anything to provide me showing that he sent them.
Well, he provided the...
So I have the proof that was not approved.
I'm speaking. He provided, evidently, the credit card company or the bank sufficient proof that he sent these things to you. What did you send to the bank?
I have it.
I'd like to see it.
Because he fraudulently copied and pasted things.
I'd like to see what he sent to the credit card company.
It doesn't make any sense.
He was going to pay you back.
He typed the website up there. That's not even my domain.
Is this what you sent to the credit card company before I
Mind if I
get in?
just take a look at it, please?
Melanie. Show the proof. He's going to give you that.
My proof is way more factual
That's what the
than
bank
that.
sent me. Chase sent me that.
So,
Well, that doesn't mean that that's the only thing that they got.
I didn't get anything from him.
Yes, sir.
first off, it's a pleasure to meet you, Your Honor.
Don't tell me it's a pleasure. I know.
understand.
You're over the moon.
Retractable banner, flyers, business cards with print as well, too.
Are you speaking to her?
I'm not.
Oh. So, being that it was so long ago, all the evidence that I did send over to PayPal, usually after 90 days, they do clear it out of the queue from the claims
Don't
that
tell
you
me
do
what they
have.
usually do.
I was able to get it.
Oh, I'm respecting you, so...
If you're not satisfied with someone's work, you don't pay them nothing. Listen to me.
Your Honor,
If you're
I didn't
not-
receive anything.
if-
How can I
if
be
you're not-
satisfied with something I haven't received?
I don't believe that you didn't receive this.
I received a copy
Just a
of that in the
second.
email,
You're
but
not-
he was supposed to print
you're-
that. I
you're
got
not-
that in the email.
you're
I'm not going to lie, but I
you're-
didn't get that printed, and that was part of the package.
Did you
You
get
were
this?
satisfied on social media, though.
That's what you
I'm
sent to
sorry.
the bank.
Case is dismissed. We're done. Now you want to be quiet?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's just that easy. I say goodbye to you. It's just that easy. Did you get this?
I got that in the email as a print.
That's a yes or a not yes.
I received that, but not in print.
Did you receive this?
I got that in the email,
That's all I'm asking you. Did you receive this?
No, I did not. I seen this on social media. This is an old website with Mr. Penn.
So this is the one that you did
I saw on
receive.
Facebook.
May I see?
Correct. This is not something that Mr. Penn created for me.
I got it. I just want to see the one that you got from him.
Correct.
You got this one from him.
He posted that on Facebook.
I want to know, did he furnish this to you?
He put that particular image on a logo that he sent to me in an email.
Other than the 3 items that I've sent to you, did you have any other communication with Mr. Penn back and forth about creativity for these business cards and for this opening salvo for your business?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So Mr. Penn did do something.
He did something.
For you.
Correct.
Right. And for that, Mr. Penn cannot be totally left without compensation.
Correct.
But you left him totally without compensation. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor, I understand.
Okay. You left him totally without compensation. Now, that's partially your fault as a businesswoman, because I would say you want to do this website, it's $1,000. I'll give you $500 now, and I'll give you $500 when the website is complete, and I get everything. Now, may I see the package, the silver package of things that you bought from him? And Mr. Penn, now I'm going to come to you, and we're going to be very, very particular, telling me that the contract you had with him was totally by text message selecting this $1,000 package. That's either a yes or a no?
Yes, Your Honor.
So there wasn't a formally written contract. You say, Mr. Pez is speaking to you today, and the silver package might be the best due to you already have your domain and hosting. I will substitute it with the business, the logo design, $125 on the house. Okay, you get 500 double-sided flyers and print 500 double-sided business cards and print a 2x6 retractable banner and stand, single-page website with domain and hosting. This comes with design and shipping. Okay. This is a single-page website. So this is what you said is a single-page website, is that it?
No, ma'am, that's not
What
the website
is a
there.
single, what is it?
That right there is part of the retractable banner. It just cut off when I printed it off.
Okay, so this is the banner.
Yes, ma'am.
And this is the banner design and business card design.
That's all the designs that came with the package.
Okay, now, you were supposed to send her 500 double-sided flyers.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have proof that you sent those?
No, ma'am.
You were supposed to cards.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you send those?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any proof that
No,
you
ma'am.
sent those?
And I can't
Who do you
explain.
use-
I can't explain.
I would like to hear it.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
We did have a phone conversation after
Did
that.
not have I have not.
And
Don't
she told
speak
me
to
to
me.
go ahead and print everything off.
He never did call me, Your Honor. The only time I talked to him on the phone was when I initially placed the order. I have emails showing that he was going to call me. He never did.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Melanie's Gaskin says, graphic designer, lost in pen, scammed her regarding a website and promotional materials.
Who do you use as a printer?
At the time, it was All Pro Color.
How long have you used All Pro Colors?
I want to say it was going on about 6 months.
Did you pay All Pro Colors?
Yes, ma'am.
How much did you pay them for 500 double-sided flyers?
I want to say between $410 or $420.
And who do you deal with there at All Pro Colors?
Usually just go on the website and you place the order, but I have a, what is it called? I'm trying to think of the word. Basically, I get things for a cheaper price there than what they'll sell to the community.
Are you still doing this work, sir? You said you've been doing it for a very long time.
Yes, ma'am. It's been
for her work.
Through PayPal, but I don't even use them anymore. I use Square.
All Pro Colors, however, would have a receipt that
Yes,
they
ma'am.
did that for you, right?
Yep, but I do not think that they are in business no more, so I had to find another vendor.
What do you mean you don't think that they're in business anymore? Why did you stop using them?
Because of delays with me having to, it only happened twice where I had to refund 2 clients because their shipping did take longer than what it was projected.
Was the plaintiff one of them?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And were the other 2 before or after her?
They were way before.
Well, if they were way before, why were you still using them?
Until I could find another vendor. And I did successfully find another vendor.
But not for her work.
No, ma'am.
Her work was done by All Pro Colors.
And I sent the tracking to PayPal as soon as I got it because I stayed on top of it.
In what month and year did you send the tracking to PayPal?
I want to say she made the claim in October of 2018.
And in order for PayPal to reverse that, is what you're saying you have to send them the tracking number?
The tracking number is the proof of the design, and usually takes up between 30 to 75 business days for them to come up with a decision.
When did you get a response from PayPal?
I actually got a response to Chase, who got a response to PayPal, and I have the information from PayPal. And I have an email saying that he was going to refund me.
I'd like to see it. Well, he said, I can do $650 due to the time that was spent on designing. And you say to him on the same date, if you can refund everything, that would be great. And then there is a thank you for letting me know, but I had no control over the hurricane. And can you give me a second chance, or do you want me to refund you for the site and still print the marketing materials? What?
During that day, I want to say it was October the 14th.
It is.
When she asked me to refund her everything, we did have a phone conversation after that.
I have not.
And she told me to go ahead and print everything off.
He never did call me, Your Honor. The only time I talked to him on the phone was when I initially placed the order. I have emails showing that he was going to call me. He never did.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Did you understand what I said? You paid $1,000 to...
I'm not going to pay $600 to him for a piece of paper when I pay another developer.
I didn't.
To do everything.
You didn't even hear me.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Melanie's Gaskin claims Grant to deliver a website and promotional materials.
Now, you wrote this to him. Hi, Lewis, the only design I've seen is the business card and the logo, which needed revisions. I don't think that's worth $650. If you are saying that you've spent that much designing, we're supposed to talk on Friday to discuss the revisions, but we didn't connect. As I stated in my last email, it needs some revision, but at this point I haven't seen anything but the design for those 2 items. I definitely understand that you have a large clientele, but I need someone who's going to be responsive at least, so I don't think this will work out. Okay, so Mr. Penn, you have to be compensated for the design work that you did. I've sort of explained that to Miss Gaskin, whether she likes it or not, that you have to be compensated for the work that you did, even though she may not have used it. She may not have used it for business cards. She may not have used it, and you can't demonstrate to me a tracking number or anything else for the work that you allegedly sent to her, because all that she says that you sent, and you do not deny in these emails, is you sent her the design for the webpage and her business cards. That's what you say. Now, how much time did that take you to do?
For
is not an answer.
Yes, ma'am. About 2 weeks.
With these 2 pages?
No, ma'am.
How many hours did you spend designing?
It took time to draw her out as her logo. It took time to create the business cards. I wanted to start the logo first so then we can do the branding and reflect
What
off
I'm
of
asking
that.
you, I'm trying to come up with a number, sir. It's not worth $1,000. She didn't get what she paid for. So you have to come up with a number, or else I'll be arbitrary and pick a number.
I want to say what I said earlier, Your Honor.
That you spent 2 weeks doing these 2 pages.
To complete the designs.
Judgment for the plaintiff because they reversed your charges in the amount of $400. We're finished.
Your Honor,
we're done.
he did the same thing to her. I didn't get anything. Nothing.
Listen to me.
Your Honor,
I didn't
I
get
didn't even know
anything.
her.
Did you understand? Did you understand what I said? You paid $1,000 to...
I'm not going to pay $600 to him for a piece of paper when I pay another developer.
I didn't.
To do everything.
You didn't even hear me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
I gave you $400 because you were suing him for much more than $1,000. You were suing him for fraudulently.
He defamed my character. He went on Facebook. No, I got messages showing what you...
Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
We found tufts of hair and broken pieces of fence on our property.
It didn't happen, Your Honor. Nobody witnessed these dogs being attacked.
It did happen. His dog was attacked. His dog was injured.
Judge Judy.
As far as Lewis, I don't wish him the best of luck at anything.
I won't disrespect you, so don't disrespect me.
I've never used any of his product. I never printed anything.
Because she's a scammer.
I've never used any of it. I had to hire somebody else to recreate everything.
Other graphic designers, I had proof where they said that she goes through a lot of vendors.
Definitely, tell people to stay away from that company.
And 9 times out of 10 that she does the chargebacks or the claims.
I don't agree with paying him $600 just to get a piece of paper and stuff that he